All right, you ready?
I swear, that is fake.
That's not
that
fake.
seems like a fake thing.
I promise. Jake, Timon, everyone will know that when you clap, it's to sync up the stuff. I promise. The stuff. Guys, we are here with the First Lady of Ghostrunners podcast. One of two First Ladies now.
Yes.
The original First Lady, Kathryn Ellis. We're going to have a great time. I also interviewed, did a little online interview with our friend TJ from Walk in Love for a little while. It's going to be a fun episode, so stay tuned. Let's get into it. I think this tight beat means that it's going down with some random thoughts and white meat too. Midwest best friends eating fast food on repeat. So come along, let's have some fun and go ahead, get on your feet, cause it's the Ghostrunners podcast. Every Monday morning with Jake and Graham, Ghostrunners podcast. All right, Kath. Thank you for being here, baby.
You're welcome.
Late night podding here.
I know.
Post bedtime. This is, I think, the third night in a row that we were planning to record this. And we are finally here.
Yeah.
It's been a little bit of a battle in the Ellis household recently with the kids. And there's been a few nights where it's like, well, the first night it was not about the kids. It wasn't great before.
I don't even remember.
It was Jensen FaceTimed us.
Oh, yeah.
We talked to him for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Which was great.
Which was great. Yeah. It was really good. But it made it where it was like, okay, well.
It was like, I don't think we should podcast tonight. And you're like, oh, no, of course not.
Yeah.
And then last night, I was like, are you ready to go? And you're like, are you kidding me? Like, you really want to podcast right now?
Well, last night, yeah. Last night it was like 9:00 and I was just starting the dishes and I don't know. I had 2 loads of laundry to fold and all that fun stuff.
Regular stuff. And I just think we talked about it beforehand and you're like, I don't want to talk, whatever, too much about the bad things and the whatever and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, listen, I just want to be honest and be real and be like, I said, if nothing else, if my only influence on people is like that they know that marriage and family is hard, but so perfectly, wonderfully worth it. That's all I want in life. I think there's so many people these days that are just always laughing off, oh, marriage is so hard. Marriage is so, my spouse is so dumb. Like whatever. My kids are so annoying. I can't wait for them to go back to school. And I'm like, I don't want people to think that. But I also don't want people to think, oh, I can't do what Brad and Kathryn are doing because they just love their kids and love their life all the time. Right?
Right.
And we definitely, honestly though, tonight was awesome. Today, this afternoon / dinner was like
so fun.
It was like literally like night and day of yesterday. Like,
and I would say more normal for us. We have more of those days than of the bad ones.
Exactly. So, that's why when you have the bad ones, it's like, hey, it's okay to say, hey, we had a hard day today.
Yeah.
Had a hard few days, but had a great. I don't even remember exactly what Bo said tonight at dinner, but I was like,
did you hear that?
That storm?
Yeah. Sorry. That was so loud.
Big old. I didn't hear it probably as well as you did because I have my headphones on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's why. That's truly why. That was so loud. Sorry.
No, you're fine. It's a fun time to podcast.
I know. I also love a good storm. I love thunderstorms, and I love especially summer thunderstorms. I think are really fun.
Yep. Talking to the mic.
I literally can't get closer to this microphone.
You can get closer.
And so it's kind of a bummer that we're stuck in this room with these bright lights and one tiny window with the blinds closed. I can't enjoy this storm.
Yeah, just do the rest of the podcast. We'll open up the blinds and you can just watch out the window.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
Dang, that is a good one.
I know. I know. Anyway.
We don't have to talk about it a ton, but you also, similar to storms, not truly, but same noises. You love fireworks, and you got to enjoy some great fireworks on 4th of July.
I did.
You want to tell some people about what we did?
Sure. I'm not a very good storyteller, but we went to our friend Molly and Calvin Beck's parents' lake house.
Yep.
Calvin's parents' lake house.
Continue Good, the candle company. We've talked about them before.
Yeah. And it was really fun. They live very far away from our house. But
no, far away while still being in vicinity of like.
Well, it's still Kansas City.
Like a day trip. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's still in Kansas City.
Like
it was
45 minutes.
Far to get there. Yeah. But totally worth it when we got there. The house is beautiful and amazing. And the property's so cool. And it's on this lake, which is awesome. And you probably remember the story better than I do, but this house got burned down.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be like this little 2-bedroom fishing cottage. And like these kids apparently had a huge rager. Like kids, not the Becks, like some like random kids.
That I guess stumbled upon the house or something?
Or broke in or something.
But then, it's kind of funny that they even knew it was there because like when you turn into the driveway, it's very wooded. Like you like take that little driveway in.
Those country kids have been exploring though or something. Whatever it is, like they got in, they had a rager. Somehow the cops found out. There's a lot of things I don't know about it. But the cops found out and the kids were doing donuts in the yard or something. I don't know. That's another
I have heard that
detail. And so then like later on, like the next day, early in the morning, like 5 a.m., some guy, one of the kids went into this shed, the fishing shed. And there was like a gasoline tank. Poured gasoline all in the house, burned it down.
Burned it down.
Yeah. I heard that story, like a semblance of that story from like 3 or 4 different of the Beck boys. And they all said, did they tell you, yeah, there's a book in there actually if you want to read it.
Well, the funny thing is I heard it from Molly, who's like the sweetest human on the earth. And she was like, yeah, like I actually burned down. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah, I mean, they have a book with pictures in it, but it really was a blessing in disguise. Now they call it the Casa de Fuego. Okay.
Yeah. Now it is like, they took
the insurance money. Yeah. And obviously rebuilt and it's a cool house. Now it's really fun. Anyway, so we were down there, which was great. And
can I tell this? Sorry, real quick. Can I tell the story of the gingerbread house? Did you hear about this?
Yeah, that was so weird.
You think it's weird? I loved it.
Well, okay. Again, I got it from Molly and Molly, cause I was staying next to her when I had Molly was like, yeah, it's just like something they do.
Oh, this is like such a This is such an Ellis triplet future thing. I feel like this is something that honestly, if it were to happen to one of our families, the triplets would be on the gingerbread house side of things. I think so. The Petersons, another close family of the Becks, have been coming to this 4th of July celebration with the Becks forever, and they one year I think Mr. Peterson found this gingerbread house that this family had decorated in December for Christmas, like in June or July. And he's like, this is ridiculous. We're taking this with us to the 4th of July celebration and we're blowing it up with a firework. And so now it's tradition every single year. They keep their gingerbread house. They bring it from Christmas. They keep it around until the 4th of July. They bring it to the Beck's house and they blow it up together.
And the funny thing is, I was talking, it must have been me, Molly, and Rachel that were standing there because Rachel was like, oh, do they just keep it? Like, do they just put it in the freezer or something? And Molly was like, no, actually, they just put it on the bookshelf. Oh, there's a gingerbread house just chill on the bookshelf for 6 months.
Yeah, they call it Casa de Ginger.
Yeah, I know. I was like,
yeah,
okay.
I love it. I love everything about it. I can totally see, not really as much as Jake, but Rachel just being like, oh yeah, I guess we have this house. I don't know. I just didn't think about it.
Yeah, exactly. I put it on the shelf and forgot about it. So.
I mean, the same family that leaves it out for 5 months is probably the same one that's going to be okay putting it, like keep it out on the shelf.
Yeah, so, I forgot about that.
So yeah, Hattie.
Okay, but
Rosie,
the funny thing about that though, when they were blowing them up, like there were other babies and kids there, and like the mom with babies were like, yeah, we're gonna go inside when they blow off the fireworks, and like some of the little kids had like headphones on, and they were like, oh, is Henry sleeping? And I was like,
sorry.
And I was like, no, actually Brad's holding him, I think. And I look out in the field and Brad and Henry are practically like lighting the match on this gingerbread house.
Yes,
I was like, oh, there's my 4-month-old. Like, just.
That is so inaccurate. We were 100 yards away from this thing. Whoa. You didn't see where it was getting. Did you see?
Yeah, it was over there.
You didn't see.
By the soccer goal.
Oh, and I had him in like a kind of a football hold and was, getting one ear covered by the chest, one ear covered by the bicep.
Good. Okay, good.
And then I don't know how much Bo was putting his hands over his ears, but he was trying.
Okay, good.
But yeah, Hattie and Rosie were like, deathly afraid of fireworks right now.
Yeah.
Bo, totally fine with them. So anyway, fun time at the Becks. Anything else you want to say about the fireworks, or was it just a great time?
It was a great time. Yeah.
I ended up leaving with the kids, but I knew how much Kathryn loved fireworks. So I was like, just go home with Jake and Rachel. So
isn't that nice? Nice guy.
Nice guy. Yeah.
Nice guy. Yeah.
So anything else?
Not really. Fireworks were great. They did them on the other side of the.
What?
Sorry, they did it on the other side of the little lake, and so the reflection of them on the lake was beautiful. Sorry, I was just thinking of like in my head. I was like, did anything happen? Any weird explosions? No, they didn't. And this is very morbid, but I actually kind of love those firework videos that
what
go wrong. Like have you seen the one
but not like truly terribly wrong?
No, not when people die or anything.
Well, you said morbid, and so I was like, what?
Oh, I just mean morbid of like they're scary. You shouldn't laugh at them.
Guilty pleasure.
But the one,
the one with all those kids.
Well, yeah, it's like the Ring doorbell is the camera. And they're just like lighting them off in the street. And they go nuts. And again, it's scary. I should not be laughing. But like the moms are like yanking their babies out of the walkers and like running for the hills.
Well, the one I'm thinking of,
oh my gosh.
There's like one explosion that's like, whoa, that was kind of crazy. Let's maybe get our kids. And then there's another one in like the driveway that like just blows up a car basically. And all of a sudden it's like, I don't care how you pick up that kid, just lift him up and run.
I watched it 3 times in a row.
Oh, really?
I think it's
You love explosion videos.
I was going to say, I love the one of Jake.
Yeah.
And the football thing. I still don't understand what that thing is. Football fire extinguisher or something.
Oh, Timon, can we put that in right now? Actually,
oh gosh.
Throw it in.
It's been in here probably multiple
times. Doesn't matter. Throw it in again, Timon.
All right, so we're with our friends John and Carson again in their epic slow motion camera, and they have an idea.
Fire extinguisher ball.
He died doing what he loved, checking to see if wolves were ticklish.
I like that. I like that. Whoa. I got nailed. Wow. That was loud.
I just flipped out of my chair.
That was so
I think
loud.
my right ear might have permanent damage.
I think I can't hear.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Okay, so nothing.
I wish we had it on the
happened.
TV right now because I would cry.
He died doing what he loved, seeing if wolves were ticklish. Oh my gosh. Kathryn could watch it 20 times in a row. Kathryn's not like just like sit on her phone and die laughing at things, but that for whatever reason gets you.
Yeah.
Every time. So
yeah, what are some good memes I've sent you lately?
Oh, the one that we think was funny, like I think I sent it to you recently. I can't remember what you sent me, but like there was that one where it was like what I hear when my wife tries to tell me something 3 rooms away, and it's like this little baby going, the baby, something like that.
Because you get on to me for that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, Kath, I can't hear you.
Time, we'll put that in right here too. Yeah, that's another. I hate it.
That was so funny.
I do not.
That little kid.
I refuse to communicate with you like that. I just will wait and I won't respond to you. At least I'll just come into the room and talk to you because I can't do it.
I love a good meme. I love a good Babylon Bee.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some good ones right now. I don't know, and I can never really tell them and give them justice.
Right.
But yeah.
Anyway, this is the first time you've been on. I mean, I think you've been on like now 3 or 4 times, but first time you've been on since Henry.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about the fact that we held that secret from the ghosties for so long?
I felt fine. It wasn't really that big of a deal to me until probably the last like month, maybe a little bit longer than that. Yeah, I don't know. Of just like when you would take pictures of me or when you would post pictures of me, it was like, okay, well, don't post that one because I'm large.
Or like when we were doing Instagram lives a bunch, and it was like,
oh yeah, that was funny.
You'd come in, but you'd only be up.
It was kind of fun though because it was like, oh, okay, they can't see me, so
if
I'll
you
just have to
only
like,
knew.
woo.
And no one will ever like. No one in our community, at least, is going to be mean enough to be like, "Whoa, looks like Kathryn's put on a few pounds," you know?
Yeah.
Like, and so, no comments like that or anything.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was fun. It was fine. That was all your idea.
was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever explained that.
I don't remember.
It
I
kind of.
don't remember the conversation or how it went.
It kind of started because I was around like 14 weeks. 14 weeks pregnant, I think, at Grande Boo. And
yes.
You were like, I want to announce it at Grande Boo.
Right.
And I was like, well, I don't know. We had a miscarriage before Henry. And so I was kind of slow to telling. If you've ever experienced that, you're kind of nervous your next go around. And so you're just kind of nervous to tell. So at 14 weeks, which is still like a good time to tell. It's a normal time to tell. But I was like, I don't know. It's still like,
just in case.
I just don't feel good about it. I don't want you to share. And so he was like, yeah, okay, that's fine. So he didn't. And then after that, I don't know. I guess it was like a week or two after that. I must have asked like, okay. Or maybe I said then of like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, I feel okay now. 16 weeks. Like, you can tell if you want to. And you were like, I don't know. I don't think I will. And I was like, what? You're like, yeah, I just think I'll just tell him when Henry's born. Okay.
Sure.
Why not?
Yeah.
So that was kind of how it came about.
So do you have any announcements to make?
No.
What is it, 4 months
No.
postpartum now?
4 months. Yes. No.
Okay. Just quick summary from your perspective. How is being a mother of 4? How is time with Henry been? Anything you want to share about?
Being a mother of 4, interestingly enough, I feel like I have been the most productive being a mother of 4 because if I'm not holding a baby, I'm like, go, go, go.
This is precious time.
Quick to the dishwasher, quick to the washing machine. Whereas before I feel like, not that I was lazy before, but I feel like it's easier to like squeeze in like, oh, I'm just going to lie on the couch for a few minutes, or I'm going to sit in this chair and scroll for a few minutes or whatever. And now it's like, no, which honestly, I do kind of like. I mean, it's not like there's never an afternoon where I sit in a chair, but I'm just saying I do like it because it makes it where when I get to bedtime, I can truly relax.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, no, I don't need to do any household stuff right now because I've been doing it all day long. So I like that part of it, I guess.
There's something about that. I don't know what it is, but like sometimes the busier you are, the easier it is to stay disciplined in anything. Like, because it's like, I don't have time and the luxury to be lazy and get off track right now.
Yeah.
Like, which if you're a mom of 1 and you feel that way, that is valid. Cause I think you've probably felt that way to an extent with every one of our kids, but it's just a matter of like, it continues to add on and change and everything.
Yeah. What was the other part of your?
Well, just Henry in general. I think you would say that Henry is our hardest baby. And it's so funny because in some ways, like I'll say that, I'll be like, yeah, he's probably been our hardest baby. And so much of it to me is maybe recency bias of like, well, he's the hardest baby because we're going through it right now with him. But people will always be like, oh, he's really hard because he's not sleeping through the night. And it's like, well, no, he's actually been sleeping through the night really well. But like, what is...
He's just hard in his defense, poor little guy. He had thrush for a while, which is like, they get these little sore things in their mouth and they can be not comfortable. So nobody would like that. So anyway, so he had that off and on and we just like couldn't seem to get rid of that for him. He was
for
really,
a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Months.
I don't know. I truly don't know.
Yeah.
He was gassy, like pretty uncomfortably gassy.
Same.
And so that was difficult, obviously uncomfortable.
Yep.
And just really, he just had a lot of tension. He went to the chiropractor for a long time. And I feel like even the chiropractor was like, oh, you need to see this other lady that does this other kind of therapy. He just seems to have a lot of tension. So I was like, okay. Which that was actually really cool. Like she was like a voodoo miracle worker.
Okay, but
like,
not truly voodoo.
No.
Christian woman.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. Amazing Christian woman.
Talk about, if you want, what she did. I wasn't in the appointment.
So cool.
But she was like doing some wild.
Yeah. So it's called CFT, which stands for craniofacial therapy, probably. Okay. Anyway, I don't know exactly what that is. I don't know how to explain it to you. It's similar to a chiropractor. So it works with like their nervous system and tension and whatnot. But So yeah, okay. So she did lots of things. The first appointment was an hour. Did lots of great things to release a lot of tension. But one thing she did is she was holding him. This is going to be hard if you're just listening. But holding him with one hand like behind his neck and the other kind of on his legs. But she was like twisting him like upside down and sideways and like all these things. And I said to her, we were in our bedroom, and it's carpeted. So I was like, whatever. I guess if he falls, it's on carpet. But
that's when it's like a wild appointment, though. If your rationale is that.
I know. I did. I had that thought. But anyway, I did say to her, I was like, listen, I trust you 100%. I really do. Like, I'm not worried you're necessarily going to drop him, but I am so impressed that you're not dropping him. Like, it was just like, I was like, oh my gosh, what are you even doing? Anyway, and so one thing she explained is she was like, I'm not really doing this. He's moving like this. I'm just holding him in a way that is allowing him to make these movements. So the example she gave is she was like, in the morning we stretch out. Well, she was like, well, babies can't do that. Like they can't like arch their back and bend their head back. They don't have head control, nothing like that. So they can't really. And when we do that, that's releasing tension, tightness, whatever. Anyway, babies can't do that on their own. So she was like, that's what I'm doing. And so she kind of taught me, it was pretty interesting because she like taught me kind of how to hold him and like on the changing table and stuff. And she was like, you can feel him, like you can feel his body like naturally kind of move that way. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so she just taught me like, here's how you can hold him like this and it'll help him like release some of that tension. Anyway, it was amazing. And he was like so tense. Like when she got like before,
like visibly like
like hands and fists,
but
like on his chest, like just like this, like all the time. Yeah. And by the end, like she was like his hands were open. You could lift his arm. Like I trying to give him baths and like, oh my gosh, like it was like prying his arm up. I was like, dude. Anyway,
it was wildly noticeably different. Like,
oh my gosh, yes. And I like that helps him so much. So he has seen her twice now.
Yeah.
He's got one more appointment with her. And I feel like that was huge. Just like, helped so much. So anyway, so yes, he has been our most difficult.
But recently he's turned a nice quarter.
Yes. And I've always said 3 months is like the sweet spot. Okay. Like if you can get to 3 months,
if you can get there,
mentally, you can survive, emotionally, if you can get there, it's like game changer. I feel like that's when their personality starts to come out. They start laughing, they start smiling. Like you as a mom finally are like coming out of the fog of less sleep and postpartum recovery and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And so it's like, oh, okay, cool. I can do this. And Henry just turned 4 months, which I feel like is very on par for him to be like a month late to that. But yeah, he's great now. I mean, he's like so fun.
Oh, he's so cute.
So fun.
He's the cutest baby we've ever had. I think. Do you think?
No.
Really? Who is?
I mean, I think he's very cute.
No, who is then? Honestly.
I don't know.
I think it's him.
Maybe. He just looks like such an old man though.
That's what's so cute.
I don't know.
Like just yesterday, like I could barely see like his hair on his head was like just combed a little one way. And I just imagined like when you have more hair.
Which is impressive because he has no hair.
No hair. It was like the right angle, like in the sunlight or something. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're going to be such a cute little 2-year-old. Like, and when he smiles.
I do love, I love 2-year-olds in general. 2-year-olds it's like my favorite age. And Rosie just entered that age and I love it. But there is something about 2-year-old boys. I had that thought just a couple days ago of like, I'm so excited for you to be 2. You're going to be so cute.
Okay, so CFT, not completely the crunchiest thing in the world, but it's one of those things where it's just like, okay, like
it's not normal.
Someone hearing that be like, you flip you do pommel horse with your baby, basically.
And that's not all she did.
No, she's a lactation consultant as well. Like
yes,
yeah.
Yes, but hey, anybody out there with newborns struggling with that kind of stuff,
look into it.
CFT.
All I have to say, I have been on a crunchy journey myself, thanks to you.
You're welcome.
So many things that I would have just been like, that's ridiculous. Some things I still do think are ridiculous, but because of you, I think that's one of the things that people know about you to an extent is like, okay, Kathryn likes things natural sometimes or whatever. Like, so people have asked on this episode for you to talk about some of that stuff. What does it mean for you? in your eyes, what does crunchiness mean? Personally, sorry, without getting too much into the weeds, I feel like, and maybe it's just because I'm getting more used to you, maybe it's the algorithm that I'm getting sent on my social medias, but I feel like crunchiness, natural minded, whatever it is getting way more mainstream than it was when you probably started thinking this way 7 years ago or something like that. But it's just, yeah. So what does crunchiness mean to you, and how crunchy do you consider yourself?
Okay. Without getting too, I don't know, cheesy, deep. I don't know what the word is. I remember when I kind of started getting into essential oils, which was like Hattie was probably our only child at the time.
I was such a hater.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
What else? No.
Sorry. I don't know about essential oils.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Because they're in the Bible, but whatever.
No, I'm not saying like there's no benefit. Whatever. Go ahead.
Anyway, essential oils. When I first started getting into those,
They're in the Bible.
I started learning about them and what they are and how they come from plants and herbs and, nature and blah, 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 blah. And it really is cool. Like once you start to study that, that like the Lord created all of it.
Yeah.
And it's cool to think that like way back in the day, if you want to go all the way to like Adam and Eve or Noah or Abraham or any of those people, obviously they didn't have modern medicine, but it wasn't like they would get a cut and be like, oh, I'm screwed because now it's going to get infected and I'm going to die.
Please don't say screwed.
Sorry.
Just kidding.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding.
I know. I was trying to think of another word to say that would be funny. And I don't know because I'm not that funny. Anyway, but they had all these natural things. Like they would put different plants, and they knew like the different plants and the different, whatever herbs and whatever. I don't know what all it was or is, but on it that is very healing or very, whatever. Like if you get into herbal remedies, it's amazing. Like it is so cool, and I think it's so cool that the Lord gave us all of that we have all of that. I think modern medicine is cool too. Obviously, I'm very thankful for antibiotics and all that good stuff. But I do think there is absolutely like first line of defense is natural stuff, because why not? It doesn't have, side effects or anything like that. Anyway, so when it comes to crunchy, I feel like a lot of the crunchy stuff is a lot of just like going back to nature, going back to basics, if you will, like just getting away from any artificial, whatever, anything.
Which is becoming more and more like hard to do in our culture. Like everything these days, how you consume almost anything is becoming very difficult to do that in.
Oh gosh, yes. Which you could say too then, which is the amazing thing about the human body, the fact that our bodies can process and like detox from just the load of artificial and chemical and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like our bodies are amazing. However, I do feel like the number one like health thing that I think about a lot is detoxing, because our bodies are just like bombarded with toxins in our everyday life. And so I think that's like one of the healthiest things you can do for yourself is just a detox.
So scale of 1 to 10, Kathryn Ellis, how crunchy are you?
I mean, on my scale, I mean, like in my world compared to a lot of other people, I'm a 5.
Okay.
I think to the average American, I'm probably an 8.
Give me an example of like somebody who's a 10 crunch.
Oh,
in your eyes, like something that people have never heard of, probably.
Oh, I don't even know. A 10 crunch is like they make everything. Like they make their own tallow sunscreen, but they never.
I do that,
but they never use it because safe sun. Like they don't need it because they're out because instead of using tallow sunscreen, they would just eat a whole bunch of carrots that morning, because carrots, it's not really carrots, I don't remember what it is, but carrots are proven to protect your skin from the inside out from the effects of sun.
Okay.
Like that's their sunscreen.
Okay.
It's like eat this herb.
So it's more like, to me, crunchy can also mean like hippie-ish, like they don't shower or they don't whatever.
Oh yeah, they don't shave.
Yeah.
They don't shave their armpits, or they don't like brush their hair. I know some people.
For what reason?
Not like purposely. I don't know.
Or maybe it's just adjacent like personality to.
I don't know.
I don't care about that as much.
Some of the other crazy things that lady does.
You're thinking of a specific person?
Absolutely, I am. No, I think she's very smart.
Do you want to call her out?
Knows a lot of stuff. No, because I respect her and she knows a lot, and I
so
really
many ways.
appreciate her, and I love like her resources and the things that I've learned from her. But on the other hand, I'm like, girl,
It's not the lady I like.
probably not. No,
My girl,
no.
Holistic Hilda.
Holistic Hilda. Look into her, y'all. She's so cute.
Okay. Ghosties, it's that time. Once again, every single week, we are sponsored by Main Street Roasters. Once again, it's time for us to talk about them. Main Street Roasters, they're simply the best. Simply the best. Single origin coffees, they got them. Blends, Miller Morning Blend, other blends, where they take two different types of coffees, throw them together, make them delicious, they got them. Small batch creations, yeah, they got those too. Flavored coffees, of course, they have tons of those. Single serve K-Cups, yeah, they got them. You can even get your coffee custom labeled for that special event in your life, for a special gift, whatever it may be. They have gift boxes. They got all sorts of goods. They got gift cards. Just check them out. It's mainstreetroasters.com. Their promo code is GRKC for 10% off. Once again, it's just one of those things that at this point, it's just a no-brainer. If you're going to drink coffee, you should drink Main Street Roasters. Okay. What else do I need to say? Right? Just go and get it. All right. MainStreetRoasters.com, GRKC, 10% off.
No. It's not.
She
her.
seems normal.
I don't
though.
think you know this person.
Okay.
This one that I follow. But anyway.
Do you have any current crunchy obsessions? Kicks, if you will. Crunchy kicks?
Sure. My current crunchy kicks. It's kind of hard to say.
Crunchy kicks.
Ever heard of dry brushing?
Me?
Or
Is that the thing on your face?
No.
What's that called?
I don't know.
Like where you roll something.
Oh, like the
Yeah.
I don't think that's crunchy. That's
Well, I don't know.
I don't even know what you call that thing.
Eye roller? No.
That you stick in the freezer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Freeze roll.
People say it feels really nice. I have one somewhere. I should find it. No, not that. No, dry brushing is where you get like a brush.
Is it wet or is it like
I'm trying to think what kind of brush it is. I don't know how to explain it. Anyway,
like a horse brush?
but you like like a horse.
You can buy it at a veterinary store.
Brush. But you brush your skin when you're dry.
Oh.
And it's supposed to stimulate your lymphatic system, help with detoxing.
Okay.
Anyway,
You're doing that?
I'm doing that
When?
before I get in the shower.
Really?
Got a little brush in my cabinet.
Because after the shower, you would not be as dry.
Normally, yes.
Okay. Anything else?
Ever heard of castor oil packs?
Yeah, you're into that.
Yeah.
That's a little something.
It is a little something, but it's easy. Here's the thing, guys. These things are easy. I'm like, even if it's not like changing my health 100% the next day, like, why not? It's not hurting me, you know? It takes 2 minutes tops.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why not? It's got to be benefiting.
I'm trying to think of the things that I'm like real into right now myself. I saw a video. Have you seen or heard like, I mean, it's biblical, like in Leviticus or something like that, talking about don't wear wool and linen on the same day.
What?
Yeah, but there's some kind of like, I don't know. You could look it up if you want, Ghosties. But there's something about like wearing both those things together are not good for your body or something. Anyway, there's so many people out there like don't wear polyester, don't wear.
Oh yeah, don't wear 100% cotton or linen.
Don't wear 100%.
No, I'm sorry. Oh. Don't wear polyester. Wear cotton. Wear organic.
Unless it's
organic
from Rollback GRKC 20.
Sure.
Yeah, but like, don't wear whatever. Yeah, but there's like studies that are like, if you wear those two things together, they're not beneficial to you. If you're wearing wool, it's beneficial to you. Linen is beneficial to you, but if you wear them together, it doesn't benefit you. I don't know. Pretty interesting. I mean, it's one of those kind of like you're saying, like, hey, God has given us these things, these natural resources. Anyway.
My other current crunchy I just thought of is I'm making my own kombucha.
Yeah. Have you tried it yet? I
have.
I think I'm not going to try that.
No, it's good.
I like kombucha out of like from a place that I would buy it at the store.
No, it's good. Actually, you really should try it. I actually need to take it out. I need to take it out of the jar. I don't have any of the flavorings yet. But I took it out and Hattie and I tried it. Hattie had a cup.
Hattie likes everything.
Yeah, but she's.
Hattie ate that dessert the other
But
night.
she
that
did-
The rest of the kids were like Bo didn't eat his whole dessert. Bo was like, yeah, I didn't make it.
I didn't make it.
Yeah, we're at a friend's house. Yeah, I didn't. I was like, how's the dessert, buddy? I had a bite.
I had the strawberries.
I was like,
Okay.
that's not a good sign.
Yeah, no, that wasn't.
Okay.
But yeah, kombucha. No, it's good.
Because you've tried to make it before.
I know. This one's better.
great.
This one's way better.
Okay.
Promise. That was that. Well, whatever. That's not that interesting. Go ahead.
No, that's great. Let's kind of move on. I don't want to, do this forever because we have stuff with TJ and I know that your time's valuable. Hey.
People don't care about casserole packs. So.
Oh, what is that? First of all, like it makes you sleep, right? Or something?
It helps with sleep. It helps with detox is another big one. Castor oil is a, I don't know how you say
Is that the thing
stimulant? That's not.
you could take when to
To
go into
induce labor? Yeah. I'm actually
Didn't you
terrified
say
of it.
one of our friends took it,
Yeah.
took too much of it
Very
or something?
typical of this friend. I'm not going to call her out. Very typical of this friend. She was pregnant and decided she wanted to
She was ready.
do natural
Yeah.
induction, which well, whatever. Anyway, so she does, but very half-heartedly. Like she's like, I don't know. I thought I would maybe give it a try. And so I was like, well, how did you do it? Like I've been terrified of castor oil as like a labor inducer thing because you hear horror stories. Anyway, and so I was like, so what did you do? She was like, I was like, did you put it in a smoothie or something? She was like, I don't know. Because I was like, well, how much did you take? She was like, I don't really know. I just poured some in my cup. Ew. What? And once I researched it later, not after that conversation, but anyway, as I was pregnant, they suggest 1 tablespoon.
Oh.
And this girl did more than that.
She had a baby quick.
So quick.
Really?
I mean, she got to the hospital and I think the baby was there within an hour or something.
Parking
Poor
lot.
thing. She did it all natural. And she was like, that was not my plan. I was supposed to get an epidural and it was not happening. And I was like, well, yeah, you basically drank a bottle of castor oil. Oh,
That's amazing.
anyway. So you put it on this, it's kind of like a little towel. You pour a little bit of castor oil on it and then you can put it over different things, whatever, but I put it over my liver and I sleep in it. And your liver is obviously what detoxes. And so it helps that, stimulates that to do its job even better, helps you sleep. Yeah, probably more stuff than that, but that's all I can think of right now.
Castor oil.
Google it.
All right. Let's go from one one hot topic to another here.
Oh, gosh.
Let's talk about homeschooling a little bit.
Okay.
Not as hot button, but whatever. Things that set you apart a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, well.
things we're doing a little differently. I guess whatever. For the sake of not talking too extenuously about all this stuff, you were homeschooled growing up. Your whole family was pretty much. Your sister, near the end of her schooling career, went to a private school. But I think that definitely, obviously, played a role in us homeschooling. What else would you consider some of the biggest benefits, some of the biggest reasons that we decided to homeschool?
I think we decided to homeschool because we wanted to be the number one influence in our kids' lives, especially at a young age. And it's hard to be the most important influence when you're not around them for 8 hours a day. So I think that was a really big one for us we didn't want to outsource, the teaching and training of our kids.
Yeah.
I think this was not the biggest reason we chose it, but one of my big reasons now, I think, and after having done it for a couple of years now, is the time that our kids get together. I really, really, really love.
Yeah.
I really love it.
We mentioned that once a week, probably.
Yeah. I think their relationship is stronger because of it and will continue to be stronger. And I think with that, it helps teach, I don't know, they are around each other a lot. So obviously there does come a point when they're on each other's nerves and, they don't get along and they don't I don't know, but there's so much teaching in that and so much training on, okay, here's how you have conflict and here's how you do it right. And here's how you I don't know. Even today, I don't know, maybe this is the wrong thing to do, but this is what I did. I told the kids that they had to clean Hattie was outside and Bo was in the playroom. And I was like, okay, once y'all get like clean up for like 3 minutes, or Hattie was in the basement. Doesn't matter. Anyway, clean up for 3 minutes and then y'all can have a popsicle outside. I was like, but y'all all like, everybody has to be done cleaning until anybody can have a popsicle. And so Hattie was cleaning. And honestly, she didn't even clean that well. I went down to the basement later tonight. Oh, place is a pit. But anyway, she was supposed to be cleaning. And then she comes up to the playroom and I'm like poking my head in the playroom and Bo is almost done, but he has a couple things. It's not really that bad in there, but there's a couple more things to be done. And I was like, can I have my popsicle? And I was like, no, you got to wait until Bo's done cleaning. And he's not finished yet. And he was working, whatever. And I was like, Hattie, you could help him and it would go faster. You could get your popsicle sooner. And then I had to walk off. I was like, I'm going to go get Rosie up. Will you help him so it can get done faster? And I was getting Rosie up and changing her diaper and whatnot. And long story short, Hattie never helped him. And she was like playing some game at the dining table. And I was like, why didn't you help him? She was like, well, I just didn't really want to. And I said, okay, well, you don't get a popsicle.
Oh, snap. I was testing you and you failed.
I didn't mean to test her, but I thought that was not
the right thing.
I know I didn't say point blank, go in there, clean that up with him. But
she didn't disobey.
No, she didn't disobey, but that was not like,
how'd she take that?
Yeah, you can imagine. Hattie doesn't get disciplined very often.
Because she's pretty good most of the time.
Yeah, which I think anyway. And so sometimes things like that stick with her. And I wanted to stick with her of like, hey, help a brother out. Literally. Like, help him. That's the nice thing to do. And it's not like Hattie's never nice. She is. But that was like, I don't know. She literally like looked at him and was like, I don't want to do that. And walked away.
Selfish. Or whatever. Like
self-centered, was not putting the needs of somebody else before her own.
We tried to teach, hey, we're a team.
Yeah.
So I like the idea. Whatever. I'm not trying to teach you how to be a mom. You're a great mom. But I like saying like, hey, we need to clean up the basement. We need to clean up the playroom. Like y'all start in your own places, but if one of you guys gets done first, do the other. But then that's not teaching them to do it on their own, I guess.
Well, and like I said, I kind of was a little bit intentional about not saying, okay, you're done. Now go in there, help him, like finish up the playroom. I know you didn't do it, but finish up the playroom.
Yeah.
I kind of was testing her. I wanted to see what she would do. She chose wrong.
Okay, let's talk more about homeschooling.
Sorry.
Common misconceptions of homeschooling that people have. That I feel like we have friends that are like, I could never homeschool.
Ugh, yeah, those people. Anyone can homeschool. Truly, anyone. If you love your kid, you can homeschool. And I'm not saying if you like spending 24 hours a day with them. I'm saying if you
if you don't homeschool, you still can love your kid.
Oh, well, duh.
If you love your kid, you will.
That
no,
is,
I'm just kidding.
yeah.
No,
that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Yeah, it's, yeah. I was going to say it's easy. I think that's.
Okay, but common misconceptions. I think one of them is I had in my head that homeschooling meant doing elementary school just like public school, just doing it yourself.
Yeah, not that at all. Like recreating the school at home.
Like
that is not what it is.
For Hattie was literally like not even every day, for sure not every day.
Yeah, probably not.
And definitely never more than an hour.
Yeah, no, not for kindergarten.
And an hour was max.
Yeah.
So much of it's just like, at least at this stage in our lives, so much of it is just learning through life experiences.
Yeah, and just talking to your kid. Just like kindergarten was just a lot of, going over phonics and like letter sounds and letter recognition and, just that kind of stuff. And that doesn't require necessarily curriculum. I mean, you can, and we did a little bit of curriculum in that subject for kindergarten, but you're definitely, my goal is not to recreate what is happening in the classroom.
Okay, what about misconception, or is it a misconception? What do you say about the social aspect of homeschooling? I think that's a big hang up. I don't know if that was really my hang up because I had friends growing up that were homeschooled, but like that's definitely a stereotype, right? Like,
yeah, which is kind of a funny stereotype because there are some weirdos in the public schools.
Kids are weird.
And private schools. I mean, it's there are weird kids everywhere.
Okay.
And so it's kind of funny to me that people are like, oh, it's only the homeschoolers that are socially awkward. I'm like, give me a break. There are people that are.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. censoring myself. So yeah, I think homeschool kids interact more often, I think, with people of different ages. Like they're around more adults, maybe more seniors, maybe younger kids. Like, and so I think it helps with that as far as social skills of like, it helps them learn how to interact with people of all ages and stages. Just because they have more opportunities in that. As far as friends, I mean, I don't know. It's hard for me to speak into a little bit because I was never in the classroom setting. But correct me if I'm wrong, it's not like you're sitting and chatting with your best friend for 8 hours.
That's exactly what public school is.
Yeah.
I didn't do a single bit of work. Yeah.
You just hung out.
Scott all day.
You and Scott.
Yeah. Homeroom. Do you hear about Homeroom on like whatever TV shows that you watch?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a classic thing that was like not really a thing at all. Like there's so many like things that Kathryn like will be watching. She's like, did this happen at your school? I'm like, no. We never walked outside from one class to another ever. Like our entire school was under one roof, whatever. Like no one got thrown in a locker because our lockers were 3 times smaller than okay. But yeah, like socially, I think it's so much about, just how much you're doing outside of, school. And like you're saying, like getting all these different experiences. I mean, I think Timon's a fun example of all that because I was instantly impressed. I don't even know if we had really hired Timon yet. Maybe we kind of technically had. Like the first day we got this new cameras, new equipment and stuff, he came in and was so confident and so, what's the word? Just assertive. Yeah. He's a go-getter with it. And I was so impressed by that of like, you are mature beyond your years in that way.
Yeah.
And maybe in some ways he is way behind on something. So, but I'm like,
but way behind on, like, does it matter? Like way behind, like I was listening to some of the episode today when y'all were doing movies you've never seen, which I guess this goes to all y'all, but and Timon was saying things he had never seen or, things he didn't know about or whatever. But I'm like, yeah, but he knows all the good stuff and the right stuff. And like, like he's a very functioning human and I don't know.
Okay. So what do you say to people when they're like, okay, we have Hattie as a 7-year-old doing homeschooling, but then you have 3 other kids. Yeah. What does that look like practically?
It looks like a lot of flexing. Like last fall, I had a certain idea in my head of what school was going to look like, and Rosie was 18 months and threw it all off, which was fine. We still got our school done. It just was in a way that was different than how I thought it was going to go. So I think it's a lot of that because you never know, like if you have tinies, like what age and stage.
Tinies? We're calling them tinies?
Yeah. Tiny. Yeah, I guess. Now I am.
What's up, tinies?
Tinies. Hey, tinies.
I don't think I've ever heard you be like, the tinies have just been so bad today. Come on, tinies. That's just like one of those you got this mama kind of things. I know you're just a mom of tinies right now.
I've never heard that though. I've heard mom of littles.
That's what I'm saying. I've never heard tinies in general.
Yeah.
Let's bring it in.
Let's make it a thing. Do your thing.
Ghosties, do your thing.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I feel like it's a lot of flexing on, on what your intentions are versus how it actually plays out. I think it's a lot of, like who's your hardest one? Like if it is your 18-month-old the hardest, okay. Well, for that, Hattie and I did a lot of school when Rosie was napping. Yeah. So that made it the afternoon. That's not ideal. I would like to have our schoolwork done in the morning, but you do what you have to do. So we did a lot in the afternoon last fall. I don't know. You flex and flow on that. Bo loves to be in the action. No surprise there.
Oh, he's always wanting to be around everybody.
Gosh. Whatever. Yes. So anyway, Bo, I got him a preschool workbook from Costco 2 years ago. I got this thing for him, and he's still working through it.
Yeah. He does his school while
he does his school, and he loves it. He's I'm gonna go get my school book too. I'm gonna go get my. And you know what? I don't know what he's doing there. I don't care what he's doing there. Like he can actually follow the instructions.
The mountains are oceans, Dad.
Exactly.
Yeah, they are. I saw it.
Look what I cut out. I'm like, cool. small. You're not supposed to cut anything out on that page.
Those bears do live in the ocean, Dad.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
That's a square. He's just making up his own things.
Yeah, but you know what? It's fine. He can sit at the dining table and he can cut and paste whatever he wants to while I get stuff done with Hattie. So I would say with tinies.
Yep. Big tinies.
The beginning of the year and the end of the year probably are going to look very different because they grow so much. They go through so many different stages. And so trying to keep them busy or trying to do it when they're napping or whatever, like your school year is going to change a lot from start to finish.
How do you know if your kids are on track? And do you have fears of like, oh, Hattie's not reading in time or whatever?
I say, what track?
Yeah. Or who compared to who, maybe?
Yeah. I don't really care.
Yeah. It's like, what if the public school kids are reading this level and Hattie's not?
Something I'm really thankful for in Kansas is the homeschool laws are simple here. So you don't have to do state testing or anything like that, which I'm sure there's some probably teachers out there that are just aghast that my kids won't be tested every year to know where they are. But I don't, especially at this age, especially elementary, I just don't think that's super necessary. Like Hattie started reading. That's the thing with homeschool is you're very in tune with your kid.
Yeah.
Because you're around your kid.
Sure.
And so you know, like, if they're, oh, that's funny, like, you know, Hattie's 7 and she's still not reading. Hattie's 7 and still doesn't know what 2 + 2 is. Like, I don't know. But she's like taking off on reading chapter books now. Okay, so we're going to focus a lot heavier on the math for this next year, for this next month, you know, and like we're going to work on this addition until that really clicks for her or, you know, whatever. Same thing of like, and so Hattie's 7, she's going into 2nd grade. She can read, she can write, she can do math. So I'm like, I feel very good with
I think we're all right.
Yeah, I feel very good with where she is. Yeah, so I feel like so much of homeschooling is you just know your kid more. Not more, but like when you're the one teaching them, you're in tune with what they're learning, how they're learning, because you're the one doing it.
There was definitely a time where I was like, Hattie seems a little behind in her reading compared to other I feel like most first grade or kinder, whatever it is, like it seemed like other kids her age were reading better than her.
Yeah.
But I just knew that she was so smart that I was like, she's going to get there.
Yeah.
Sometimes I was genuinely like, is she doing this? Is she just messing with us? Like, I know she knows how to do this. Like, why isn't she or I'd be like, Hattie, you should read this. And she'd just roll her eyes like, Dad, I don't want to do this. And then now all of a sudden it just like clicked and she is just going a mile an hour.
And that's the cool thing too, because I feel like it clicked this year and it was on our 3rd reading curriculum that we tried with her.
Yeah, good word.
And the first one we started out with is the one that I grew up using. And so when that wasn't going well, I was like, well, I literally have no idea what else to do. This is how every human on the planet learned how to read. I don't know how to teach you how to read. So we tried a different one. And that one also was like, it was like running in mud. Like it was just so hard. And so I was like, okay, this is not working either. And so it's just trial and error until I found the one that I was like, okay, she's responding well to this. Like she likes these games. She likes these visuals. She likes, whatever the worksheets.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And then it was off to the races. I mean, it just clicked. And so, which is the other great thing about homeschooling is you can pivot halfway through the school year. Of like, okay, this is not working. Like, concepts aren't clicking. She's not understanding. She's getting frustrated. I'm getting frustrated, Okay. And you know what? One of those I even rented from the library. So.
Okay. You can
there
do
you
that.
go. Look into your library for curriculum.
Whenever I sometimes feel those struggles of like, is she going to be able to do this? Or is she behind on this? Or what if she hasn't learned this? One of the things that I kind of find comfort in is just your ability versus my ability, honestly. Like if I don't know how to do something, it is sometimes harder for me to learn it. I'm saying I still try and I have learned plenty of things. I started a woodworking business after not knowing how to use a saw, but like, I feel like it's like your entire siblings, like your entire family. It seems like you guys are always continually like picking up new things or like interested in like, well, I don't know. Let's look into that thing. Like, let's learn more about this, idea or this topic or this new tool or this fire pit or whatever it is, like all these different cool things. And it's just, I think that like gives me comfort that like, if we raise our kids, hopefully to be respectable, polite, well-intentioned kids who have been influenced more by us than the environment, whatever, other people. And they might not know all the presidents, or they might not know, all the, abbreviations for the elements, but they know like how to find those out and how to learn more about them and how to like dig deeper and like have those skills. That's fine with me. You know what I mean? Like,
which is a big piece of the classical model of education. You're not teaching a kid what to think, you're teaching a kid how to think. And that's what I think is so important. That's what I think a lot of people in our generation and younger generations of like, they don't really know how to think. Like they think what they've been taught to think.
Right.
Instead of questioning. And questioning doesn't have to be bad. Like, I feel like in the beginning, even of our marriage, like anytime I would like question you on things, I can't even think of a good example.
Oh my gosh.
It used to bug the heck out of you.
It felt, you would say why a lot.
Yeah.
Like, why? And sometimes it was the tone. Sometimes it was like,
sure.
Why? No, I'm just kidding.
Never.
But sometimes it was just was like this underlying, like, hey, it feels like you're doubting or you don't like it. So you're asking me to like justify it or something. Like, you need to just listen to me.
And instead I was curious. Like, I just want to know, like, how did you get there? What was your mental process of getting there? I'm curious because I didn't get there to that end point, but you did. So how did you get there and I didn't? And whatever. Or I don't know. I can't think of another example, but just like,
why?
Why?
Man, that used to drive. You're right. That was a tough time. I would be frustrated with you. I say, can you just let me just make a decision?
And of course I was always like, well, yeah, I trust you. I'm just curious, like your thought process.
Oh man. Yeah. That was great.
Don't you love me?
I think
for
one
it
time
now?
I was just like, just for like a week, just like listen to what I say and let's just do it and see if I'm a good leader or not, or something like that.
And I thought, oh my God.
Oh, we're homeschooling our kids.
Oh, it's going to be a long 50 years.
50, huh? That's it?
I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh,
man. Okay. Let's kick it to TJ and myself, and we'll come back for some fun little quick questions. Quick cues. Hey, TJ.
What's up,
Welcome
Brad?
to the podcast, my brother.
Ghostrunners podcast.
How is Maui?
Maui's good, beautiful. It's getting hot, but not like, I'm from the Northeast. So like we were at the gym today and there were some people from Pennsylvania who were working out. They probably lived 25 minutes from where I used to live, which was crazy.
Wow.
And we were just talking about how like people think it's humid on Maui when you come from like the Northwest. They're like, oh, it's so humid here. But like the Northeast is like a literal swampland of darkness. Like it's like the best way I've ever heard someone describe it is like it's like living inside someone's mouth. Like when you just walk outside, you're just like, don't touch me.
Yeah.
Don't even look at me because I feel like that adds to the humidity. So it's not hot like that.
Okay.
Because I've had plenty of summers like that, but it's getting hot. It's getting hot, which is awesome because the water's warmer and it's just fun.
Have you seen? And maybe this is like the stupidest question. I'm just becoming more and more obsessed with whales. Have you seen a whale in Maui?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Whale season is like late October through like you usually see the first one in October, but you have to be like on a boat out in the water through like probably February, March they start to leave. But like if you go to the beach in like late December, January, February, you can just sit there and you'll just see them jump because they come to make babies and they come to have babies. So both things are happening off the coast of Maui.
Yeah.
And once the babies are born, the moms have to teach them how to jump. And so you'll see a mom jump, which is the size of a school bus. So think about dropping a school bus in the water and you can just see it from miles away.
Right.
So they'll jump once and then the babies will jump like sometimes 20 times in a row because they're practicing.
Really?
And so you'll just see like, if you can see the big one, it's like we were one time in this place called Alawalu. And I would say like a mom whale jumped like 3 300 feet away from us. And it was the most spectacular thing I've ever seen. Like we were kind of sitting, I saw it out of the corner of my eye, and I grabbed a child because like it was like Rocky, and I was like, "We gotta go!" And we all ran to the end. But it's like one of those things. Like when you can see a big one close, it's like seared into your memory forever.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I watched whatever that documentary is. It Blackfish? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
If it's not, then that sounds really inappropriate. I'm calling it. um, no, like I watched that and I was just like, I just want to see every whale. So
Yeah.
I'm coming to Maui in October.
Yeah, you are.
So it sounds like maybe that's a good season for it. So I'll be watching.
We might see a few.
Yeah.
We might.
Yeah. So I know that TJ's been on the podcast once before. We've talked about him a million times, but Walk in Love, Sunny Morrow. I always want to say Little Rhythms, like
Tiny.
Lil, little tiny rhythms.
Yeah, Little Rhythm.
Hey, what up? It's me, Lil Rhythm. I think you should have
like that feels like a branch off.
Yeah.
Maybe like a really cheesy YouTube channel where I'm rapping about kids' days.
Hey, do your chores. And then
it's like
whatever. Yeah.
I've been making a living on the internet for forever. And it's like you work so hard to like do cool stuff, and it's like something like that would probably be the thing that takes off. And you're like, oh, you're the like rapper guy that raps about kids' chores.
Oh,
like
Little Rhythm. There's like Lil Dicky, and then there's Lil Rhythm.
Yeah.
Sometimes
both.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm going to Maui in October alongside of TJ. TJ's hosting Dads on Maui, which will be awesome. And there's our session is sold out, but there is another session that I won't be at.
Yeah,
that has some spots. Correct.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so stoked for it. We're actually moms on Maui, so yeah, Brooke and I we moved here, and we're like, this is such an amazing place to be. How can we help people experience this? There's part of it that's like, obviously just like the natural beauty of the ocean, all that kind of stuff. But then I think some of the real magic of Maui is like, you're so removed from people. You're so far, like your time is so different that there's this element of like, you don't get as many texts, you don't get as much life updates. Like you're just behind literally in time. And so we were like, let's do these retreats so we can have people come and like kind of experience that. And she's done Moms on Maui now 1, 2, 3, 4 times. We're actually, the 5th one starts this week. Okay. And they've just been really powerful, like impactful to the ladies that have come. And I was like, well, dads need some love too.
Yeah.
And then I asked you if you would come and join us. And so I'm so stoked.
Oh, I know, dude. What are like my main expectations of what I need to be doing for this? Because
just be yourself.
But like, do you need me to like be like cooking and stuff? Because
I'll probably need some help in the kitchen a little bit.
I might need some signature dishes maybe or something.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it's gonna be your signature dish.
Oh,
if you had to cook something for someone,
cook
like lights out, like I'm not a great cook, but like one thing I can totally depend on, like I can make it good every time, is eggs.
Yeah.
Like eggs and some sort of meat. I'm like, that is an easy no-brainer for me.
Dude, I don't know though. Like, I think I'm pretty good with eggs, but like my kids are so accustomed to Kathryn's eggs. Kathryn just does everything better than me in the kitchen. That sounds so whatever. Like Kathryn's just better than me. But like, no, she just, so like, I think this is some great eggs, and they're like, oh, this is fine, but I don't want all these because it's not mom's eggs. And I'm like,
Brooke is a fantastic cook. She's like, how can I stay on island and cook for you guys while you're gone? And I'm like, however that happens, I'm okay with it. Let's just figure that out
somehow. Everybody else. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm excited about it, dude. Okay. What about, just in general? I feel like out of all people I know, I feel like Kathryn and TJ are the most kicky people. And by kicky, I mean, we've talked about it on the podcast before, like Kathryn's kicks, but like, I remember when I was in Maui, on Maui, whatever the word is, in December, you were getting really into that app that like controlled how much screen time you had on your phone.
Yeah, still have that on. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely still in that kick.
Okay. I just know you have like trends that you love. I mean, you've been into CrossFit for a while now, whatever, like all these different things. Yep. Do you have any recent ones that we need to know about?
Well, I have here. This is so embarrassing, but let's just lean into it. I love conspiracy theories.
Okay.
Like, I I think that's the latest kick. Just like here, because so I've never been on TikTok before until about maybe 4 or 5 months ago.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
I have, like I had one early and then I was like, this is going to waste too much time in my life. It was too loud and noisy. And so I deleted it. And then I signed it back up again because it's like, well, it's, we're trying to grow the brand, we're trying to reach new people. It's just like, it's just kind of by default. And so I signed up and like, it starts to feed you stuff. And if their algorithm is really strong. Like it
Yes,
learns
100%.
quick. And so you're just like, okay. And for whatever reason, I started watching the conspiracy theory ones, like flat earth,
Yeah.
Tartaria, like
What was
ancient
that?
history. So this is my favorite one. So there's a conspiracy theory. And I'm like, as you watch some of this stuff, you're like, I don't know, maybe I do believe this. Like, I'm not smart enough to dispute it. They're
Okay.
making some good points. Like I remember very specifically watching one. This was a long time ago. I actually watched this on Instagram. And Brooke's like, what are you watching? I'm like, well, I'm watching this theory that like the people that exploded in the Challenger explosion aren't actually dead. They're all actually professors and they have their names and lookalikes. And they're showing this video. And I'm like, I don't know who originally was in the Challenger explosion. So I'm not smart enough to even like they could be making up both sides. And I'd be like, hey, I guess I believe this now. So that's kind of like my ongoing joke is like, I guess I believe this now. Like I'm too dumb to know otherwise.
Okay. So it's via TikTok though that you're finding
Via TikTok, because the
Yeah.
algorithm is just so strong and it just feeds and feeds. And so there's this whole world of TikTok conspiracies that there used to be this ancient world, ancient country, kingdom, empire called Tartaria.
Okay.
And they're responsible for a lot of the structures that have been built throughout the world. So like there's similar pyramids in different parts of the world, similar looking buildings in different parts of the world. And so the conspiracy theory is that a lot of the like incredible buildings that we have all over the world were actually built by Tartaria and we just inherited them.
Okay.
And so like they like, cause like they'll show pictures of like, here's this giant building in, Moscow that like is incredible and the detail and all this kind of stuff. And then they'll show like someone out front that's like pulling a horse and buggy. And they're like, how did this person build this structure? Like the technology, And so I just love it. I think it's just so fascinating. And Brooke's like, you're weird. Like she's like not into it at all. She's like, if you ever bring this up in front of anybody, I'm going to tell them that I like don't approve of it. And like,
and so you're like, let's go on the podcast.
I'm just like, this is just where this is the kick that like I believe that a Jewish carpenter was born of a virgin, lived a perfect life, died for my sins, and then rose again. Like, as far as crazy things to believe in, like I'm there. And so that by default, I'm like, yeah, all right. Like maybe some other crazy stuff has happened. And so, I'm not.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you hear all like the conspiracies or like the whatever, not to get too political, but like all the, whatever, the government's doing this, the government has control of this. And like on some levels, I'm like, okay, that's ridiculous. On other levels, I'm like, well, if I believe these other things in life, why would that be impossible over here? So
yeah, the one that really got me, the one video that really got me was okay. So here's like one of the roots of the conspiracy theory. One of the roots of Tartaria is that, and again, I'm not smart enough to know if this is even true, but the video is that the Great Wall of China, the windows on the Great Wall of China to shoot arrows to like defend are on the wrong side. They're actually facing into China. And so the conspiracy is that they didn't build it. They just inherited it because it was actually built by Tartaria to defend from whatever was in the China region. I'm like, I love it. I'm all in.
So what
I might buy a Tartarian flag and hang it out in front of my house.
What happened to it? Like, did it just?
I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe it's still going.
There's all sorts of conspiracies about that too. So you're welcome, Ghostrunners. I feel like now everybody's TikTok is going to be filled with that because our phones are listening to us. And so,
have you heard of ninjas or butterflies? Have you heard of them?
No. Oh yeah. I've seen them. So yeah, they talk about it a lot too. Yeah, I've seen like their clips. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got like
I
the
mean,
long hair and the beard and yeah.
some of the stuff that they come up with,
Like the Grand Canyon stuff. Like there's ancient
also,
stuff found in the Grand Canyons.
yeah, it's like, if all this is true, that's wild,
Yeah.
and they've made, it's quite a popular, not a living, but yeah, they're getting more and more traction
Yeah.
based
But
off
it's like,
that.
yeah, again, I'm not smart enough. Like I'm going back to Pennsylvania this week and my dad is like, he majored in history, like graduated with honors. And so
Yeah.
I'm like so ready and excited to like chat with him about it and be like, have you ever heard this? And what do you think about it? And like, is it crazy? And like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeehaw, y'all. We are sponsored once again by GoodRanchers.com, the best place to get your American meat delivered. Before you go giving your money away to Jeff Bezos this week, you should go to GoodRanchers.com and shop their prime deals on American meats. Trust me, you don't want to miss these savings for America's best meat delivered right to your door. For this week and this week only, Good Ranchers is offering you the chance to save up to $150 when you subscribe to their 100% American meat subscription service. Imagine having top quality 100% American beef, chicken, pork, wild caught seafood delivered right to your door, all while saving up to $150 during this special Prime Week promotion. As you guys probably already know by now, we've talked about it plenty. Good Ranchers sources all of their meat from local U.S. farms, ensuring that you're getting the best of the best. No antibiotics, no added hormones, just pure, delicious meat that you can trust. With these prime deals, you're not only getting incredible savings, but you're also supporting American farmers and enjoying transparency you won't find in the grocery store. Even better, for every order Good Ranchers will donate to paralyzed veterans of America. So if you value local, trustworthy, high-quality food, now is the perfect time to join the Good Ranchers family. Head over to GoodRanchers.com, subscribe to any box, and unlock their exclusive Prime Week savings. But hurry, these Prime deals are only available for this week. Remember, that's GoodRanchers.com. It's no code needed. Just subscribe to unlock up to $150 in savings. Great deal. Treat yourself to the best meat America has to offer. Your taste buds, your wallet, and American ranchers will thank you. GoodRanchers.com. It's American meat delivered. Well, so many things I feel like that were conspiracies 5 years ago all of a sudden are kind of
100%.
just like accepted as truth now, whatever.
And I think like, going off you, like not to get political or anything, but like, I think one of the reasons that like, it sort of like is interesting to me is because like with the COVID stuff, we saw people fully believe one thing or the other, and then fully not believe that thing or the other in such a short period of time. And I think seeing it live happen right before my eyes, that like people were screaming at me for one thing, and then they were totally okay with it just in 12 months or 16 months or whatever. It's like this weird, like, oh, people can actually like be fully controlled one way or the other. And like, I'd never seen that in my life. And so there's probably other times in the world and in history where like people have been like totally convinced that one thing happened one way when it might have happened the other way. And so I think that's part of it. I think it's all kind of connected, but it's mostly just like a kick that like TV's not as good, movies aren't as good. So I'm like just watching conspiracy videos and I'm into it. I'm unashamed. So take that, Brooke, wherever you are. I'm not ashamed.
I do. I love it. I feel like my algorithm, TikTok especially, like it seems like it's ever changing too. Like, I for a while I was getting nothing but like, not nothing, but like so many music centered videos, and then sports stuff was going on, and then whatever. For a while they were sending me whatever, like Tom Segura and like Bert Kreischer stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Like it just was like, but and I liked it all. But it was like it wasn't like, I don't know. And then all of a sudden I'm getting baseball stuff now. And anyway,
and then Brooke's reading this book. I forget who it's by, but it's like all about like how devices are like slowly destroying our brains. And so like, there's two very different things happening in our house right now that like Brooke's like trying to be like, I'm going to throw in my phone. And I'm like, look at this cool stuff.
Is she reading Anxious Generation?
No, it is. Let me see if I can find it. It's like about, I'll find it while we're talking, but
okay. Cause that's one of the things I did have that thought whenever I mentioned like,
it's called The Opt-Out Family.
The Opt-Out Family.
The Opt-Out Family, how to give your kids what technology can't. So it's mostly geared towards kids, and like some of the studies and stuff is like honestly like bone chilling to like what kids are consuming. And it's like really about just like as parents, how do we protect our kids from a device that doesn't have any morality
Mm.
or like is honestly like built off of fear and anxiety. So like Instagram is like reading your face and how you react to things, and it will show you, and it's like based on like fear and anxiety. And so like there's a study that like like as soon as you watch, like if you watch like a, you know, something that's like this hurricane, like if you're watching hurricane coverage and you're like, man, this huge hurricane is coming, Instagram will pick up on that, and then they'll show you like 5 more hurricane things within the next 10 minutes, and it's like all built off fear. And so like as adults, hopefully we are able to recognize like, hey, I'm not going to like give into this. But as kid, like, but that's happening to kids too. And
Mm.
so it's like this really like, so the book has been great, at least, you know, what she's been kind of picking up pieces and sharing it with me. Um, but yeah, just like as parents, what do we do when our kids are like, you know, like what do we do with phones? What's the age? How do they
Yeah.
use them? All that kind of stuff. And so, a
Yeah.
good resource, I think.
I don't know. Have you heard of the podcast Honestly?
Mm-mm.
Barry Weiss podcast. Anyway, uh, not a Christian podcast, but it was really cool. Actually, one of the episodes that I listened to, and I actually mentioned on Ghostrunners a couple weeks ago, but uh, they were just talking to this other. I think she was a psychologist or therapist or something like that. But all the things they kept saying, like, kept turning back to like biblical values. But then they also
Yeah.
interviewed this guy. Have you heard of the Anxious Generation? This new book.
I feel like I've
Um,
seen that, like the cover.
Yeah, so they interviewed him, this author Jonathan Haidt, and yeah, he's talking all about how like
Yeah, I've seen that cover. Yeah.
um yeah, basically I think it was 2012 or 13, like all of a sudden once Facebook and Instagram got like comments and likes and all this stuff, like mental health and anxiety and all this stuff has just gone
Yeah. It's
skyrocketed.
crazy.
And yeah, as I was listening, I mean, it was kind of the same idea. Like when he would say these different stats or these different anecdotes or something, it was like our kid's never getting a phone. Our kid,
Yeah.
they're not, whatever. Like we always talk, Jake's whole bit is about being sheltered and everything, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm sheltering my kid as long
Yeah,
as I can.
100%. Well, it's
So,
interesting. Like the groups of people that aren't giving their kids early access to phones are like really strong Christian families.
mm,
And then like the tech moguls, like literally the people that started
yeah,
these companies. And so it's like, what an interesting, like two groups of people.
right.
Yeah. We talk about it all the time. And like, you know, there's kids with phones in our neighborhood, and we tell our kids, like, as soon as a phone comes out, you come home. Like, that's just our
Perfect.
rule.
Wow.
And, and there's been some like, we've had to have conversations about like, our oldest feeling embarrassed by that. And I'm like, you don't have to tell them that's why you're leaving. You just have to say, oh, I have to go home, get on your
Yeah,
bike and ride back, because, they're a few clicks away from things that they should never see.
exactly. Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, I'm not going to mess with it.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, okay. So what's the app called that it, like limits your screen time and all that stuff?
It's called Opal, but there's
Yeah.
actually a few of them coming out now. I've been targeted for quite a few, but yeah, Opal is
Algorithm
such
as
a
well.
good app. Yeah,
What
such
about
a good app.
Oh, go ahead.
So yeah, so it blocks out so you can set different parameters like, um, and then different intensities. So like I have one from 9 o'clock until 8:15 the next morning, where it blocks like I basically tell it the apps that I can use, which are like, music, my audiobook, like, the normal stuff. And it blocks like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, just the time wasters, Redfin, like which real estate app, like I'll just scroll and scroll and scroll. And it's like, and there's different like severities of blocking out. So like the one from 9 to 8:15, I literally can't open those apps. I
Mm,
could I could turn off my phone, turn it back on. I could delete the app and reinstall it. There's nothing
yeah.
that's going to work. And
Okay.
then there's like a severity less where like if I go like this one I have like it's like family time from like 4 until 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock p.m. And so if I actually need to get into those phones, like I'll open the app and it'll give me like a 50-second countdown. Like,
Okay.
and I'll have to wait with the app open for 50 seconds to pause
Okay.
it and then use the app. And so like for that, some of that stuff, it's like, well, sometimes I need it for work. And
Right.
so I'll do that. And then there's one that's like a little bit lighter than that, where it makes you wait like 30 seconds.
Okay.
And so it's crazy what the like 30 seconds will do. You'll just be like, well, I actually don't need it, or like the 60 seconds, I actually don't need it. And then the full lockout has been great. Like I find myself way more present. Well, one, I go to bed earlier. Like it shuts off at 9. I'm in bed, like for the most part.
Right.
And then I'm just way more present in the morning as we're getting ready, breakfast, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause you literally said like, I download TikTok and you said like for our brand to hopefully, grow, expand everything.
But now I'm watching deep, dark videos about an ancient kingdom.
That's the tension, right? Like I think Jake would, say similar things. I definitely feel it where I'm like, yeah, I have to have Facebook. I have to have Instagram for work, but then it's like, well, am I really even using it that much for work, or am I just like, and so I don't know. I'm intrigued by like the idea of what you're saying, like, with this app and how that would work. And if that would help with, cause so often I will like literally get on Instagram to do something for work or and get so distracted before I even get to the thing that I was supposed to be doing. And it's like, oh, it's so good. It's like, oh, I see Jake post his story. Let's see what he posted.
Yeah, let's see how he's doing in the hurricane type of thing.
I'm looking at 16 stories and then I'm on reels and then like, what was it here for again? So
there's a really good book called Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport, where he talks about how like we originally got these devices to make phone calls and sort of text. And that was like the agreement we had with them. Like, like this is the social agreement with a phone. It's like this convenient way to call people when I need a ride. And it's a convenient way to text people if I need to. And it's like, that was our original agreement. And then they like filled it all with all this other stuff that we didn't originally agree to. And so we were almost kind of manipulated into this like monster that we didn't really sign up for in the first place. Nowadays, everyone knows what they're signing up for. But like for us, who are the first people to get cell phones, like there was definitely just like this element of like, oh, it's just a call. Like all we're doing is calling our parents to pick us up. Like that's the convenience. And then all of a sudden it was like this whole other monster. And so his big thing is like coming up with like a rule of life for your device. Like what are the rules? Like what's it for? Is it for entertainment? Is it for work? Is it for this? And then just like establishing those. And I think that's what our generation will end up doing with our kids is we'll help them sort of like establish those rules so they can have a healthier relationship with technology than we do. Because we were kind of like weirdly manipulated into it without really like fully understanding the depths of what it was doing to us.
Right. Yeah. It's funny, like how protective I am for my children. It's similar to like, my diet versus like what I want my kids to eat. Like, it's like, whoa, you can't have 3 donuts in a day or, but then again, it's like, but I'm your dad. I can do whatever I want. Like, it's like, no, you can't be on the screen. You need to stop looking at my screen. And then what they see me doing, 30 times a day, 100 times a day,
my kids have started to ask me if I'm using my screen time for certain things. And I'm like, okay, that's good. That's nice and convicting. So,
yeah, well, that's cool. All right. Any other, kicks that you've been on?
The only other one is, so a little bit of backstory, not too much, but like we are having a crap year in business. That is what it is. Like I'm just claiming what it is, not trying to sugarcoat it, but the Lord will provide. I'm confident of that, all this thing. And so we were already having kind of a bad year. And my wife, Brooke, used to sell Beauty Counter, which was about like 30 to 40% of our income. So she was very good at it, very successful, like one of the top people in the business. And due to some like legal buyout things legally with Beauty Counter, they had to shut down. Overnight, they shut down. And so like the original founder is trying to buy it back, but there's like so much like complications legally that it's like taking a lot longer than they thought. So like they shut down overnight with hopes to open back up in the fourth quarter. And so like, so overnight our income was just like cut in half essentially, cut down by a third on top of a year that had already been kind of rough for us. And so I was like, well, what do we do? Like, I don't know. I literally don't know. Like obviously we just trying to trust the Lord and just like lean on him, reduce our spending. Like, we're doing all the normal things that people have to do when tough times hit. But then Brooke got targeted for this person that was like, this is how I make extra money on Amazon. And I was like, okay, like we have an Amazon affiliate link. We make like $20 a month, because someone's like, where's that thing from? And we're like, here's the link. Maybe they'll use it.
Yeah.
But this lady was talking about how like she makes review videos. And so it's like, she's like, I don't have to post to my social media. I don't have to talk about it. But if someone watches my video of me reviewing a product and then buys the product, I get like a small percentage. And she's like, and I've been able, she's like, just last month, I surpassed my husband's salary. And I was like, okay. Like, and again, you see online gurus that are like, just, buy 6 gas stations and then, rent out a condo. And then, they're just like, okay, guy, thanks. Like,
what was it integrated? One time somebody said, just make, what was it? 200.
Just write like $200,000 checks. And me and Brad are like, what?
Who are you? What? How?
That's all I need to do? Oh man.
No problem.
What was I thinking? What an idiot.
Gosh.
And so Brooke saw that and she was like, okay, she didn't say anything about it. And then for the last Moms on Maui, she always has a friend come to help her out, kind of like you're coming to help me. And this friend, her husband makes a living on YouTube, but again, like things have been sort of tight and rough and like the sponsorships are going away. Like, it's just like everything's getting a little butt clenchy for all of us.
Yeah.
And she told Brooke about the same program and she's like, we've been doing this thing. And so Brooke was like, okay, this is someone I know. This is a friend of mine. Like, this is something that maybe is actually legit it's just not. Yeah. And so I started making Amazon reviews. So that's the next kick that I'm on. And it's like, I'm not making a ton of money. Like, it's not like, the gates of heaven have opened up, but it's interesting how like easy it is because I've been talking on the internet for so long that like I could pick up a product and give a 60-second review. No problem. And I'm now doing that in my head as I'm like going through our house. I'm like, what is happening to me?
I'm just like, right. I've been doing the same thing. And I'm just looking around Jake and Rachel's house. Like, what can I review here?
And like, let me scan it, see if it's on Amazon.
Jake and Rachel literally gave our kids this cool sprinkler, like toy thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, did you buy that on Amazon? Not only did they give us a present, but I'm like, maybe I could make some money off of this present.
And so, so I'm up to 137 big ones. Oh no, 151 big ones.
You dog.
So it definitely is working.
Yeah.
I definitely like I have this bike helmet that like I've had for years and that's like my money maker right now. And then we have a robot vacuum. And so those two things have like most of that stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like this little, like, it feels sort of passive, like part of, selling products online is like, it gets so tiring that you're like constantly feel like you're asking the same people over and over again. And you're just like trying to come up with new ways to say, hey, buy this shirt. I think you'll like it. And that feels exhausting at times. And so this has been like a nice sort of like kick that feels like it could be passive. It could be its separate thing. I don't have to like tell my audience about it.
Right. Low pressure.
So no pressure.
You can't comment on the video. Like if someone doesn't like it, you're never going to know,
Yep. So that's my other kick.
I love it.
And I'm going back to I'm staying with my parents when we go to Pennsylvania. So I'm like ready. I'm ready.
Like a new frontier of
yep.
That's great. You should just like pay your friends $5 to like
just like let me come over. If you could leave the house, I just need about 40 minutes.
I'll clean for you. Like maybe that's what you do. That's the business. Is like do like a maid cleaning service.
But I'm really he wasn't very good at cleaning.
I mean, things were tidied up pretty well. Like they put everything back in different spots than they originally got from. But, oh man.
So that's the other kick, the Amazon videos.
Good. Yeah. So you mentioned or something that we've talked about multiple times on the podcast recently for us is the idea of filthy rich and things that matter.
Yeah, man.
And I know that. Yeah. Yeah. And it wasn't even me. It was my buddy that said it originally. But I know that, like you said, you've had ups and downs and more downs this year, it seems like.
Yeah.
What is your like tendencies? What are your you're just how do you react when things are not going well? Like what are your initial are you the kind of guy that's like, I'm just gonna go do something new? I'm going to tweak what we have. I'm going to go cry and give up, like whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's the
I think, if you listen to our podcast, we sometimes refer to ourselves as the butt clenchers. So that was a self-imposed nickname from our audience, because I, in the past, would talk about sort of these like butt clenching moments in life, like finances get tight, or, you're having just like a rough time with your kids, or like whatever, just like these moments where you're just like, oh no.
yeah,
And another phrase that we used to use, which I don't use anymore, which is hopefully shown some actual maturity in my life, is like I used to say like, "Oh, I'm Googling bridges to live under." Like when things got rough in life, I'm like, "Oh, let me see if there's a nice bridge that I can move my family to and we can
right.
live under." And
Yeah.
so like I honestly, in the past, I would go down like it would get dark real quick for me. Like
Yeah.
it would just be like, "Oh man, this is the worst mistake I've ever made. I'm the dumbest boy in school. No one likes me. Everybody hates me." Like I would get real depressed real quick. Um, Thankfully, I have a loving wife who now has taught me, and through being married for 15 years, we have learned to communicate better. And
Right.
so I would say that like over the last few years, 5, 10 years, like I've definitely learned to emotionally regulate better than I used to. And
Yeah.
so there's an element now that I just like, it stinks. Like there are definitely times where I still feel like, what am I doing wrong? How can I fix this? Like, is it me or is it something out of my control? And I think lately what we've been just Brooke and I've been talking about and just leaning into is like, God is good, whether we live a good life or whether we live a comfortable life or an uncomfortable life. Like he is still good. Like his goodness does not equal comfort. And so we've been sort of just trying to like rest in that place that like a good full life, like Jesus said, I've come that you may have life to the full, does not mean I have come that you may have life to the maximum comfort. And
Mm.
so if things are uncomfortable for a season, that doesn't mean that God is not good or he does not love us. And so we've been really like just kind of sitting in that like we have enough for today. We will keep trying our best. We'll keep bringing forth our best effort. We'll keep trying to produce the highest quality products. We'll keep trying to like add the most value to our customers. But in the end, a lot of it is outside of our control. And
Right.
so if we can just rest in him and, find comfort in him, then all let the chips fall where they may kind of thing. Like, yes, we can be wise. Yes, we can make good decisions. And something that I've really tried to like wrap my head around lately, and something that I really try to remind myself daily is like, my kids have never asked me how much money I make. My kids have never asked me like how well we're doing. Um, and so like they just want to spend time with me. They just want me to play with them. And so like that's a rich life. That's a good
Yeah.
life. And
Right.
and so as long as I can kind of not compartmentalize in a bad way, but as long as I can check out of the office and like say, hey, you did as well as you could today,
Right.
whether the sales are good or bad or ugly, like you did as well as you could, as long as I can check out and be present, like with Brooke and the kids, like I feel like that's the lesson that I'm trying to learn during this tough season. Cause we've had tough seasons before. We've had great
Yeah.
seasons, and we will again. And so really learning how to like balance those out, like emotionally be present has been kind of like at the top of my mind lately.
Yeah. It is. It's amazing. Like being an entrepreneur, some days it feels like you're the next Mark Cuban, and other days
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know if we're going to be able to
Yeah.
afford.
Like, should I get a regular job?
Yeah. Yeah. And all that stuff. But yeah, I remember you mentioning like back when you were living in Pennsylvania, like you guys were close to like, or maybe you did even just like say, we're done with this. Like it's over.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
So, the year that Sonny was born, which now I'm blanking totally, 2018, we had like, again, just like a really rough year. Sonny, it was my second daughter, super difficult baby. Just one of those years. We had started another business. We were part owners of a co-working space, which was like slower to get started than we thought, just like lots going on. And the what I felt like happened that year, and this is the analogy that I use, it was like the scene in like a show like ER or something like that, like a hospital show. Someone runs in, they're carrying someone, like they just collapsed. I don't know what to do. Like that's what I felt like our business had done in 2018. Like it just collapsed. I don't know what to do. And so you run to someone and they're like, well, maybe you should try this. And you're like, no, that's not the answer I'm looking for. So you run to someone else and you're like, maybe you should try this. And you're like, no, you're dumb. I don't believe you, you're just like kind of looking for someone to agree with you or whatever.
Yeah.
And what I felt like that whole year the Lord was asking me to do was like, just, you need to set it down at my feet. You need to lay the burden down at my feet. And I wouldn't do that. I was just like holding it tight, running from room to room. And so by the end of that year, it took almost a full year. We decided, hey, we're going to close up shop. We're going to be done with this. We're going to figure out what's next for us and our family and all this kind of stuff. And so, yeah, we thought we were done in 2018. And so we stopped. We shut it down. We closed down the store. We sold out all the inventory. We sold our stake in the co-working space so we could have money to survive. And yeah, we just like for 6 months, we kind of just searched and tried to figure out what was next. We ended up coming back to the business. The Lord actually led us back to it. But yeah, it was definitely like a season of like, I don't know, like, let's see where we're going, which is terrifying and a little bit liberating, but mostly terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm excited to see how the Lord, continues to use this situation with you guys.
Yeah. And I do think that there's this element, like, we were just making jokes about it, like just buy a couple of gas stations or write a couple of $1,000 checks. Like there's so much bull crap on the internet of just like, why aren't you, if I had $0, I'd be a millionaire in 2 weeks. Like, why can't you do it? And you're just like,
don't know how to grind.
First you just borrow $200,000 from your dad and then you invest that in you're just like, okay, and so I feel like
history major. All right. He doesn't have 200,000.
Yeah. Yeah. He will once we unearth Tartaria. We'll be the technology will discover the advancements.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
We'll be really rich in what matters. Time travel. And so so I think there's like through all this just sort of downtime, frustrating season business wise, we've just been trying, like I've been trying, and I feel like the Lord has been leading me and just like to be super honest about it. Cause I do think that there's so much just like kind of chest pounding and like, look at me, I'm so good. Like that's what the internet is. It's highlights. And so like, I've just been trying to lean into like, this is where you are and that's okay. And if you're there, that's okay. But if you're doing great, that's awesome. Like do great, and so it is what it is.
I mean, I think that is so, that's people don't like Jake and I because we're like these amazing people. I think they're just like, you just feel like you're just two of our best friends that we don't know. Like, so I think there's definitely value to just being real and being honest. And just be as normal as you can.
My goal has always been, and one of the highest compliments we can receive is like when people meet us in real life, they're like, oh, you are exactly who I thought you'd be.
Yes.
Because like I have met people that I've followed on the internet and I'm like, oh yeah, you are not who I thought you would be. And that's kind of stinks.
Right.
Like, that's like not fun.
Shatters your image or whatever. Yeah.
Like I'm probably not as outgoing in real life as I am on the internet. Like that is the one difference. And then I've also heard I'm not as tall as people think I am. So
you're like 6'8" or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
That's funny. I did. Well, yeah, I recently met a guy that I was expecting him to be as tall as me, and he was not. This guy was
hey, shorty.
Whoa, bud. How you doing down there?
What's the weather like down there, pal?
Kiddie pool for you or what? No. Awesome, man. Well, I think that's going to be about it for this one. Thanks for joining me, brother.
I'll be on anytime.
I love it, dude.
Anytime.
This platform makes it really easy to do.
Yeah.
I think, relatively smooth and everything. So, I think so this episode's going to be you, and it's also going to be Kathryn. Kathryn and I are going to do a little bit of something.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about homeschooling. So maybe let's end it there. Let's talk about just 1-2 minutes of your thoughts on homeschooling, what you've learned recently.
Okay.
I know you're homeschooling, and you're actually doing a lot more of the.
Yeah. So again, because of some of the financial stuff, like, most of our audience is female. So Brooke and I were like, hey, maybe you should have a little more time to work, make a little more content, like be a little bit more in front of the camera. And so for most of this year, I taught most of the homeschool. And I actually just posted a reel about it because homeschooling is no joke. It is so hard. Not in the terms of like, it's hard to teach, like, my girls are in 3rd grade in kindergarten. Thankfully I knew everything that I was teaching for the most part. Some of it I was like, I don't remember this, So it's hard, but it's hard because like there's an element of like, you just want your kids to move faster. Like you just want them to read faster, write faster, answer faster. And, they're reading their book and they're like, okay, the pig went to the, you know, uh, and I'm like, why don't we just keep looking at the page
Yeah.
the whole time? And then, and the lesson that I've learned throughout homeschool is like how, like I try to be a good father, present, and like, a good father teaches their kids. Like I don't sit there and give them all the answers. I don't provide all the solutions. I don't just say, hey, I'm going to fill this book out for you. You go have fun and play. And like, so like for me, I think the biggest takeaway in homeschooling this year was like, if I'm a crap dad compared to God the Father. And so like if I'm willing to be there and be present and sit there and struggle through it with tears in the eyes of all of us and just like keep going and pursuing, how much more is my Father in heaven sitting beside me at the table when I'm struggling and counting with my fingers and going through something for the 17th time and still not understanding it and
Right.
trying to get through it, even though I've got tears in my eyes. It's like, and so that was like the best part of homeschool this year was like that, like, it is such a great picture of like grace and patience and love that like, even like, again, like, kind of talking about this year that we're having, like, I'm not just instantly getting a check to solve all my problems, but like, I know that my good Father is sitting there with me using this time to sanctify me and teach me so that in the future, I'll have these lessons to persevere even more. So,
Right. I love that. That's great.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. That's good.
Homeschool it's fun. We're done though for the year. So we're taking the summer off.
Yeah,
Hallelujah.
congrats. Yeah, mid-July, you're finally done. That's that's great. Oh, congrats.
Yeah.
We're still like in the early stages of it. So
Yeah.
we're still learning,
And,
but
and again, like I always say this to Brooke and she doesn't like it, but she started now to say it back to me is like, this is the worst we'll ever be at it. Like when you do something to start, like if you're starting a podcast, a business, starting to homeschool, like starting to work out, starting to eat healthy, like this is the worst you'll ever be at it. You can only get better at it from here on out. And we've definitely seen that. We're in our third year of homeschooling.
yeah.
And we've definitely like, we even learned a bunch this year that we're like, okay, next year is going to be even better, even smoother, all that stuff. So
Yeah, I mean, it's just like anything, it's like it's so easy to tell your kids and teach your kids that lesson, but then it's so hard for you to not understand it yourself. Like
100%.
yeah, Hattie hates failing and gets so discouraged when she fails. I'm like, Hattie, remember, like you have to practice in order to not fail. And so often as adults, we forget that. And so it's like, hey, it's going to take time, but cool, man. Well, thank you once again, TJ, walkinlove.com, Sunny Morrow. If you're a lady out there looking for everyday essentials, as fun as you are. Is that it?
That's
Did I nail it?
You nailed it, dude.
Yeah. And come to Dad's on Maui, Mom's on Maui, whatever,
Yeah. We got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, man. Cool, man. All right. Thank
Should
you.
Should I give a discount code?
Yeah, of course.
Let's do GR 20% off all three brands.
Okay.
For one time only code.
Cool.
But you can use it one time on each brand. So,
okay. Nice, dude. That's very generous. Cool, man. Hey, Ghosties, interrupting the episode for a second to talk about Healing Waters International, sponsor of today's episode. We are fundraising alongside of them to help bring clean water to Chiapas, Mexico. They're the poorest state in Mexico. They live in extreme poverty there. Day laborers earning only $12. Huge issues there with their water consumption, with their water supplies. It's just something that is truly foreign to me. And I want to make a difference. I want this to be something that we can help eradicate for these people. So we are fundraising alongside of Healing Waters International, alongside of a generous donor. Ministry Partners in Christ has pledged to match up to $10,000 in donations to Healing Waters International with the Ghosties. And so we are making it a goal of pledging and raising $10,000 towards this project in Chiapas, Mexico. How awesome would it be to say we raised $20,000 in order to eradicate this issue for the Mexican people of this clean water. They are doing some amazing things down there. Healing Waters International truly have huge hearts for this thing. One quick testimonial here. Mrs. Edelmira is an elderly woman from the community of Rosarito, where she was born and raised. She told us that all her life she had to carry water from the well for bathing, washing clothes, and everything else her family needed. Edelmira never imagined that a project like HWI's would come and solve the water problem in her community. She considers it a great gift, especially at her age, to see this project come true. So we are asking you guys to potentially donate, help raise funds for this. A one-time gift of $30. $30 provides a child with safe drinking water for an entire year. Let that sink in. $30 can literally change a child's life, providing water for them for an entire year. $150 would provide an entire family with safe drinking water for a year. $750 would provide 5 families with safe drinking water for a year. If you want to go the more monthly level, $25 a month provides safe water for 10 people for a year. $50, 5 families a year. $100 a month, safe water for an entire classroom of children for a year. $100 a month. I know that's not nothing, but that is something that I think we can figure out ways to save $100 a month in order for this great cause. And then $250 a month provides safe water for 100 people for a year. Once again, $10,000 is our goal that Ministry Partners in Christ has pledged to match. If you'd like to donate, it's give.healingwaters.org/Ghostrunners. We'll put that in our show notes as well, but it's give.healingwaters.org/Ghostrunners to donate to this project in Chiapas, Mexico. Thank you. All right. Thanks, Tej. Thanks.
And we're back.
We're back, baby.
We're back.
You're doing great, Kath.
Yeah, right.
You really are. We just have a few little last questions here to end the episode. Okay. If you go to any concert right now, what would it be?
Fun fact about me, I don't really love concerts. So I would say Need to Breathe.
What do you not love about concerts? I don't love them either, to be honest.
What do you do? You know?
You feel obligated to do something?
Yeah.
I kind of do too.
I would love a concert where I could sit.
You're an old person.
One of
You're
my
getting
favorite
old.
concerts.
Nickel Creek?
Yeah.
Was awesome.
Was great.
Yeah.
And
we
thing,
sat there.
We sat there. I don't have to sit. Like, I'm not that old physically. Like, I'm happy to stand. But, like, don't be, like, do I have to sway? Like, do I have to, like, cheer?
Yeah. You
do I have to, like,
obligated.
put my arms up or, like, crowd surf?
Yeah. That's fair.
You know, like, I'm like, I'm here because I enjoy this artist. And so I would like to enjoy them.
Yeah.
And I'm never drunk at a concert.
You've never drunk?
No, I said, and I'm never drunk at a concert, which I feel like often it's like the drunk people that are like, oh,
I love
so
it.
annoying. Anyway, but Need to Breathe. I have seen them, 3 times?
No, more.
More? 4 times? It's been a long time.
We've seen them a lot together.
I love them.
Yeah.
And Nickel Creek was great. Ooh, Nickel Creek was great in concert. Or one of my other favorite concerts that I've been to is the Piano Guys.
Oh, you love them, yeah.
Loved it. So fun.
But you also love Carrie Underwood?
Yeah, that was really
I remember you coming back from having me like, Carrie Underwood was amazing.
Because Carrie Underwood was at the Sprint Center and it was my first like big concert. You know what I mean?
I don't think I've ever been to a big concert before.
I would see Carrie Underwood again. That was really fun. And I didn't even like know, I mean, I knew her, but I wasn't like super duper into her music at the time. That was kind of random.
Have you seen,
but it was
I think
really
I showed
fun.
you that footage, like the Sphere in Vegas, like that venue that's just like, just 360 degree, whatever, like screen kind of thing.
Yeah.
I want to go see John Mayer. I want to go see John Mayer anywhere, but I want to go see him there.
I've seen John Mayer. He was very good.
When? How?
In Texas.
With who?
With Alyssa Estelle, her boyfriend Tim Head, who's now her husband, and Sarah Estelle.
Tim Head. Yikes.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, that was senior year of high school. I went to go see him. He was very good. Wow,
so-
I have seen a lot of concerts for somebody who doesn't really love. But you know what? The John Mayer one was really great because it was outdoor and it was on this lawn. So we sat on the lawn.
It's chill.
It's chill.
Okay.
So fun. Go ahead. Carrie Underwood, I think I said too. Because we were in a really sweet box.
Oh, yeah, that was with, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, if someone's not crunchy right now, where's the first place they should start? I know.
I mean, crunchy versus healthy, that's hard, because on the one hand, I would say like start with your food. That's not a crunchy thing to do, but like start there as far as like if you're trying to be healthier, like eat organic. I'm sorry, I am one of those people, but that means, whatever. Organic means it hasn't, nothing. Means it hasn't been sprayed with glyphosate. Google glyphosate if you want to see what that does to the body. Not good stuff. So like eat organic when you can. Learn, I don't know. The less processed, the better. So like look at ingredient lists on products. Can you read them? Can you pronounce every ingredient that's in there? So I would say that's like the most basic. Like, I don't know if that's crunchy. That's more just like healthy. Start there.
I think some people maybe would consider them the same. I don't know. I'm getting too far down the rabbit hole to decipher my bias versus what other people think. But
yeah.
Okay. Someone asked for your perspective on neighbor Henry. Not our son, but or any stories that you have of him or experience with him. Am I pretty accurate in how I portray the guy?
Yeah. I don't interact with him too much because I know it takes a long time.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen him super recently.
Yeah. I've been texting him.
Okay, good. I was going to say, which is always a little scary with an older person,
Oh, he's like in his 60s. You think? Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Yes, your impression is very accurate.
Yeah.
And your description of him is very accurate. He's great. We did have an interaction with his neighbor, Doug, recently, and his wife.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't there. You just texted
so embarrassing. I had sent the kids outside and I was going to like fill up my water bottle and go out, or I don't know what was happening. But for whatever reason, Rosie was the only one that obeyed me. And so Rosie was outside and we have this gate that goes to our driveway and Rosie can open and close the gate normally. And she had opened the gate, which is often open anyway, but she had opened the gate and gone into our driveway. And from our driveway, you have access to the street. It is very far away from the shop.
We'll call it 4 times as long as a normal driveway.
Yeah, like it's a very long driveway.
Guys, we have a huge property.
and there's a line like halfway down our driveway that our kids know not to cross, even if we're outside. Like they don't cross
the boundary.
That. Yeah. And it's still very far from the street. And I don't think Rosie's ever really crossed that or ever tried to cross it. Anyway.
If one of the kids would, though, it'd be Rosie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But she was out there on the driveway and just like standing by the shop door. So again, she was still like very far from the street. And as I'm like about to walk out there, I see this yellow truck pull into our driveway, which is another thing. Anyway, pull into our driveway.
What?
Well, because it's another thing where they pull in and I was like, oh my gosh, they're turning around.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to hate on his yellow truck.
No. I mean, it's very yellow, but no, I just, you people.
Google glyphosate, guys. See how much yellow is in that.
Seriously. Y'all would be shocked at the number of people that turn around in our driveway.
It drives Kathryn batty.
Drives me batty. And here's why it drives me batty. Because
he has a bunch of tinies.
I have a bunch of tinies. And more often than not, I'm out there, not necessarily standing in my driveway, but like in my backyard. Like I can see them. They can see me. I'm like, what are you, like, okay, I have turned around in people's driveways before. Not frequently, but every once in a while. But I don't do it in a driveway where they're sitting there watching me.
Well, I'm just amazed how often people get lost.
Oh my gosh.
That's what's more amazing.
I will see 4 cars in one day.
Stop.
I'm not kidding.
Okay.
4 cars in one day turn around in our driveway. And I'm like, what the? Do you not have a phone? Like, do you not, like not have Google Maps? Like,
yeah.
Anyway, sorry. So this yellow truck pulls in. I'm like, oh gosh, somebody's turning around. And then they don't back up. So it's like, oh, maybe this is a customer. Brad didn't tell me about them and they're dropping off something or I don't know. And so I'm walking out and he gets out of his car and he's like walking down our driveway. And then I recognize him and it's our neighbor, Doug, who's a firefighter. So I'm like, oh, you're safe and responsible. He was like, oh, hey, like my wife and I were just driving by and we saw this little one out here by herself. And we were really worried she was going to run into the street. It was like, we figured she was out here and you didn't know it.
You're like, I knew exactly what she was doing.
I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right. Thank you, Doug. Saving her life. I was like, yeah, you never know with this one. She's quick to run out the door. I was like, so Doug, how are you? Tell me, how are you doing?
All right, see ya. Okay, Rosie, go back.
Yeah, I know. Come on, Rosie. Hold my hand while he drives away.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, that was kind of embarrassing.
Oh,
Anyway.
I'm all about it. I would have been like, yeah, we want her to learn how to play by herself, Doug.
But I appreciate and I told him that over and over again. I was like,
kind-hearted.
Doug, thank you. Thank
It
you.
wasn't.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
sure
you.
it was not judgmentally.
No, it wasn't. And
whatever.
thankfully we knew him. And so it was
he's-
fine. And he was with his wife and who was just like, well, we were just trying to be careful.
All right. What about sell me a minivan? Talk to us about the minivan journey that you've gone on. Or would
Sell
you?
a
Would you?
minivan. I would say talk to my husband, Brad Ellis. He will sell you one a minivan. No, I'm kidding.
Would you go back?
I love my minivan.
Would you rather have a large SUV? Honestly,
It's hard because I've never had a large SUV with kids. So it's hard to say. I had a Toyota 4Runner before the minivan and I loved it.
okay, but right now,
Yeah. The minivan's probably the best. It's lower to the ground. Kids can get in and out easy. It has a sliding captain chairs, which I think is game changer.
okay,
So Honda Odyssey, sliding chairs.
yeah,
It's good.
game changer.
Game changer.
Honestly, though, I can't imagine what we
I
do
really
without the
can't.
sliding chairs.
I really can't. I mean,
They're
yeah,
so helpful.
I really can't.
Buckling kids in the back and everything.
We took a road trip all the way to the Gulf Coast of Texas with a family of 6, and we packed all of our stuff in the back of it.
Easily,
Pretty easy.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Pretty easy.
we could have packed more.
Yeah, and it's not like we packed super light. I mean, we took Hattie's bike for crying out loud. And we took a DockATot that Henry didn't even use. So,
There you go.
yeah. So, a lot of space.
A lot of space.
A lot of space.
How do you feel? Do you feel weird driving them anymore?
When I catch a glimpse of myself in it,
Do you?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but that's a whole other story because that's just like
That's just kind of like
it's just
no, I was
like
gonna say
wow, I'm
weird.
that old to where I'm driving a minivan. I'm like, well, yeah, I've got 4 children.
Isn't it weird how we don't
Age.
mentally think that, even though it's like, okay, we've taken on the responsibility and accepted that, but we haven't accepted.
Yeah. What's your mental age? How old are you in your head?
Oh, I think I'm in my 20s now because I'm starting to like physically feel a little ailed. But besides that, I'm like 12.
Wow. Okay.
Not truly, but like, I don't know. Yeah.
I'm 22.
Oh, are you?
It's great.
Just because you want to listen to that Taylor Swift song?
Yeah. No, I'm 22.
Really?
Forever and always. I
Okay.
think. Yeah. 23 was the first birthday that I was like, ugh, I'm turning 23.
I kind of remember you being like, oh, I'm in my mid 20s or something like
It's
that.
true. I hated that. I hated turning 23.
Yeah.
And hate's a strong word, but you know what I'm saying.
If you
I've
could,
hated every birthday since.
thanks. All the ones we've been married for.
Yeah.
I get it. I need to get you better presents. If you could do it over again, would you have kids earlier?
Yeah. I think you and I had them pretty early. Like we were only married 2 years.
3.
3 by the time I had her. So like maybe I would do it a year earlier than that, but
Yeah.
I don't think we necessarily waited too long. I do love, like, I can tell you, this makes me sound old, but being pregnant when you're 33 versus being pregnant when you're 26,
Yeah.
night and day. I don't know how people in their late 30s do pregnancy. That sounds horrible. So, truly. So, yes, I mean, I advocate for everyone. Hey, get married and have a kid
Yeah.
right off the bat.
Okay.
Because, you know, when you're newly married, like you don't have that much money. You're not really established. Like, because I know people are like, well, we want to like be married first before we have kids. And like,
Sure.
like that's fine. But like, why not like become empty nesters at the age of 50 and then, wow, you're in the prime of your life and you're empty nesters and now you've actually got money and you're more established. And it's like, now I'll see the world. And I'll take my best friends, my adult children with me.
There you go.
It'll be a blast.
That sounds fun.
Doesn't it?
Where are we going?
Oh, all the places. I can't read a book these days to Hattie without wanting to go there.
It's kind of alarming to me. Like, I'm like, how do you find your own husband to fund these trips? Yeah, Mom and I, we're going to Paris.
We
and
are.
We're going to, what else did,
We're going to New York. We're going to stay in the plaza. The Ellis Suite.
with whose, like,
Yours.
Good Ranchers needs to keep sponsoring this thing. Oh my God.
Where else are we going? We're going to Greece.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we really want to see.
Can you
all
read
of that
more
stuff,
books that take place in like Wisconsin or Oh, stop. We got listeners in Wisconsin.
I know, and it's probably great. It's just so cold.
Not in the summer.
Could be. What's your low? Probably 50.
No.
Sounds kind of cold.
It's not 50 degrees right now.
You don't know.
Give me a city in Wisconsin.
The northern ones.
Okay.
I don't know Wisconsin.
I don't know either. I just
They
looked
all
up
are like
Madison,
Milwaukee,
Wisconsin.
right?
Madison, Wisconsin low. The lowest low this week, 64 degrees.
64? That's chilly.
It's the lowest.
That's chilly.
Some days the lowest low is
64? That's
Stop.
chilly.
Listen.
Look up. What'd you look up?
Look up
I know.
that thing up
Where
there.
were you? What was that?
Madison.
Where is Madison?
That's like it's like borders Canada.
Yeah, right. Try a Milwaukee or Chesapeake or
Oh, look at you knowing.
what's the one that had all the riots? Rittenhouse.
Yeah, that's the one you would know, huh?
What? I don't remember it. What was it? See, Wisconsin, they're burning down cities up there
Stop.
because it's so cold. They got to light fires.
What was that? Yeah, right. Get out of here.
I know. What was that city?
Ricochet. I don't know. What? Shabanon.
Yeah, but they all sound like that.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Anyway,
That's gonna bother me. that I don't remember
Wisconsin's cold. Wisconsin. I am trying to get to Wisconsin. I'm trying to get to Pepin. Look that up.
it. Pepin.
Pepin. Oh wait,
Scotty Pepin.
Minnesota. Is that Minnesota? It's Minnesota.
Yeah.
Take it back. Sorry, Wisconsin.
Pepin Township.
Yeah, that's
Lake
where.
Pepin.
Look at the weather there. That's Little House on the Prairie. Hattie and I are going there. We're also going to South Dakota. We're going to Mount Rushmore.
About the same as Wisconsin.
Mount Rushmore and
You guys.
what's the one called in South Dakota where they lived? The Ingalls.
Oh, the yeah. What's that called? I don't know. I was thinking.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, we're gonna go there.
There was a potential law. I hope it gets passed eventually in Kansas. That was like, you get what is it, $6,000 a year per kid to spend on education expenses.
Yeah, school choice.
That'd be awesome.
It'd be amazing.
Because then I'd be like, go to Greece.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Just learn something while you're there.
Yeah, don't get me started on that.
Okay. Let's go. Let's have, I don't know. Maybe you're having an answer to this. Maybe you don't. Do you have anything to rant about? Anything you want to get off your chest? Anything you're like,
Too
I'm
many
tired of people
cars
saying that.
Turning around in my driveway.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm tired of people. Oh, I'm tired. This is funny. I'm tired of people saying all the things.
Ooh, you don't like all the things.
I don't.
Like when people are like,
Don't like it at all.
are people
have done
saying
it for
it out
years.
loud or are they?
Yes. You want me to call her out? Madison Vining.
Wow.
I know, called her out. I really like her, y'all. But she says it all the freaking time. And I just when I had to get my water bottle and my keys, and it's just all the things.
All the things.
It's called everything. It's a word. Not all the things.
All the things.
Everything.
You said bloody bloody blah like 3 times?
Did you tell that story about Bo?
Oh, no. That's hilarious.
I don't know what. Bo was trying to tell us a story the other day. And poor guy, he could not get all the words out. And it was like, yeah, so I'm gonna go in the playroom, and then when I'm in the playroom, I'm gonna get the well, you know, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Blah, 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 blah.
Blah blah blah.
He just gave up.
I know. And then he turned around and walked off.
That was pretty cute.
Okay. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
That was funny.
He's influenced by his sister, probably.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, so there's my rant. All the things. I don't like it. Don't like it at all. It. I don't know. All the things.
Okay, stop.
It said to rant.
Yeah, you're right.
So I am.
Go off. Okay, and the last one, favorite hymn.
Oh gosh.
Favorite hymn that comes to mind. Or give us a laundry list if you want. Top 5. Anything.
Okay. One of my newer favorite hymns, because I learned it with the kids a couple years ago, that I knew but didn't know it very well, is How Firm a Foundation. I really like it. Basically, it's just scripture verses in every verse. And I really love it. And just talks about, how firm a foundation we have in the Bible. My latest one that I've been liking is, I don't know if you call this one a hymn. Maybe you do. Maybe it's just an old chorus. But the song Give Thanks.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a hymn, but
I know. Is it?
it was made in the 90s, maybe. So
No. Was it really?
I don't know.
Was it really?
I don't know. Maybe it was before that. Let's see. Okay, but tell us why. Like that you've been listening to that one a lot recently?
I've been listening to that one a lot
Okay.
lately. Yeah, I like it. It's a nice bedtime hymn to sing with the kids. It's a good one.
Okay.
Trying to think, what are some ones that I've told you that I wanted at my funeral?
1986.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Shocked. I really like Because He Lives.
Because He Lives.
Yeah.
We sing that one a lot to the kids.
I really like that one. I really like, so many. There Is a Fountain.
Yeah, you do like singing that. Yeah. There's a lot of them.
There's a lot.
Lead Out My Vision.
Yeah. It Is Well, which is like cheesy answer, but I love that one. It
So
Is
good.
Well With My Soul. So good. So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Well,
So
thank you for
answer that.
being on. Thanks for joining. I mean, we could have talked. I mean, we do talk a lot, but I could have asked you a bunch more questions about a lot of this stuff, but I just know this is going to be a long episode already.
I know. And probably not even that entertaining.
No, I think it's a different kind of entertainment. I think sometimes we're just being goofy and yelling and screaming and whatever. Other times we have conversations like this. I think it's fun and there's value in all of it. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Ghosties, feel free to ask more questions. I think, we'd love to hear them and love to get feedback in any way. I'm going to shout out just a few people here that have bought merch. Today, we're recording this on July 10th. And I'm just going to say all the people that have bought merch today, July 10th. Shout out Karen Wickersham, Hannah, I got some names today. Karen Wickersham, Hannah Huguenard, Natasha Veers, Sadie Gallagher, Sierra Norris, Trevor Eschbach, Isaiah Mulder, Katie Klein. Shout out to y'all. Thank you for ordering merch. If you haven't ordered your merch yet, Ghostrunners.life. Check it out. We got plenty of really cool things on there. Feel free to support us in any way you can. Main way of us growing this podcast is by you guys just telling other people about it. People did ask Kathryn, does Kathryn listen to every single episode?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I get behind.
Or sometimes it's like kind of on the background and you didn't hear every single thing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
No, you're pretty consistent. You were listening to it today. It came out today, Wednesday's episode. And
was I?
Yeah.
Probably was.
So, and you do enjoy it.
I gotta make sure I know what you're saying. Gotta send you things when you are wrong.
Yeah, I know who Harambe is.
Yes. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's fine. Kathryn doesn't know who that is. How rude.
Oh, and so a lot of people, I mean, I don't even remember saying this. Probably, 10 people commented in some form or fashion about me saying, oh, I like the fear. That's why I married Kathryn. So I just want you guys to know that was a joke. I mean, Kathryn's a strong woman.
Thank you.
She can scare me sometimes. But it's
I didn't even catch you say that.
We have a very healthy marriage. It was a very
Were people worried about you?
I don't think so, but I think it was just one of those things we're not Jake didn't even acknowledge, I didn't even remember saying it. I mean,
Jake knows not to say anything either.
They all know their place. Yeah,
they all know.
So anyway, all right. Thank you, Ghosties, as always, for listening. We'll see you guys back on Monday with Jake, with Timon, with the crew. Back for another fun episode to hear all about Jake's cruise. So love you guys. See you next week.
Bye.
Ghostrunners Podcast.